So we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah, in the name of Yah Mashal HaMashiach this day. Let praise is renowned unto his name. And let's get this John 5:39 and search these scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and receive not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, the Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Let's get this Proverbs 9, right? We'll start all over from the top, right? All over from the top. You know what I'm talking about? And because we didn't get but 14 minutes in for when I think y'all didn't let it stream because I needed to I had been sweating. Even though we wasn't going in no actual sanctuary, I had been sweating. And I needed to wash that sweat off my body. You know what I'm saying? Before preaching, so I was entirely too sweaty. At least I ain't tell you no lie. I seen your mind, know who that was. She said, Dwayne, you all right? You need some help? I'm like, who is this lady? I said, she looked familiar. She looked like someone I seen before. I'm like, no, I've been waiting on the tow truck. Then she put off. I said, that's the fit. I said, oh, that's Leisha Mom. Cruising the streets. So then a couple people like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. Good thing I ain't paid for these people. Good thing it's roadside assistance. Nigga had me waiting 3 hours, put me on hold. Nigga say, I called back, the whole music came on. Nigga say, how you call back and don't answer the phone? Send a nigga straight to hold. I said, these niggas here wild, man. It's all good, man. That stream messed up anyway, man. Proverbs 9 and 8 though, right? Well, 9 and 9. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. So we got to go back over them words one more time. Most High willing, I remember everything verbatim. If not, it's all good. Now, when you look at give instruction, now I'm going to tell you that to give instruction to a wise man, you get shakam, which is skill, insight, and teach is yada. You know what I'm talking about? And things of that nature. But I want you to come to Psalms 111, because that's where we went at. Right after that, try to work Psalm 111, man. 111 and 1. Take your time. It was a beautiful day. Because it's the day that Yahuwah has made. That's what the words say. He's saying, rejoice in it. This is what he say. Hallelujah. I will praise Yahuwah with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of Yahuwah are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. So he say that those works are great. And it's see, that's what I was just talking to the brothers up in Georgia about. They called me a little while ago, right? Let me pull these words, and I'll give you some insight on what some of the things that we mentioned. Remember, you say the sought out is Daraj. So those works of Yahuwah are great when they're sought out, when you're seeking that way. See, what I told the brothers is, right, and y'all know this, right? It's two particular relationship types that the text uses to describe man's relationship with Elohim. One is the relationship between a man and a woman, and the other one is the relationship between a father and his child. And the reason why he uses these scenarios is because they are very easily relatable to anyone. And this is what I told him. And you can see this in the text. It's in Deuteronomy 6, if my memory serves me correctly. It states that you should do the things that Yah take pleasure in. So he was like, why shouldn't we go to people with the law first? I say, because, the law ain't going to get nobody to do nothing. I say, well, most people get it messed up at, and because you're not taught this here, right? If a woman loves and trusts and believes in her husband, then it will be a delight and a pleasure for her to fulfill his will. There will be absolutely nothing that he lays down that she would not take joy in doing because she loves to serve her husband. Because you're not seeing that in everyday life, and that's not taught, that concept seems foreign. But that is how Yasharal is supposed to relate to Yahuwah, that you take delight and pleasure in doing the things that is pleasing to him. You know what I'm saying? See, in this society, it's the reverse. That the man is supposed to be seeking to please and get delight in his wife, and it's supposed to be the other way around. You know what I'm saying? She's supposed to be executing his will. The reason why he uses that scenario so you can see how, as a whole, the people are supposed to be delighting and serving their husband. Then it's the reverse with children. And I've told y'all this before. These children are small, so they haven't been corrupted quite yet. They take when you ask them to do something or they do something, they look at you for approval. They're looking at you for approval because they want you to be pleased with their works, that you delight in them. You know what I'm talking about? And you see the text, they talk about that the children of Yasharal doing certain things because they delighted in their father, because they wanted him to be pleased with them. So you're not doing it because I keep the law, I keep the law. You're doing it because it is a joyful thing to you to please your husband, to please your parent, your father, your mother. When you approach it in that aspect, and then you translate it on a carnal level, do you know how much easier it could be for people to be married if you take that concept? You know how much easier it is to raise your children if you just keep it that simple? See, the word keep it simple. Y'all know what he said. You know what he said in 2 Corinthians 11 and 1. You know what he said? He told you, he said, don't get corrupted by the simplicity, right? That's in Mashiach. So that means anything pertaining to the word is very, very simple. That means marriages are very simple. That means raising children is very simple. That means having friendships are very simple. We tend to complicate things with our own desires, insecurities, and flesh, and make things more complicated than they need to be. You know what I'm talking about? Stuff don't need to be that complicated. The word doesn't show you keep things simple. If the man do his job, that woman's job is going to be very simple. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's what I mentioned to you before, right? See, y'all see most of us, you want to get married, you want to have kids. That's what they push it. You know, most of y'all were playing house when you were little. Some of y'all were hunting and playing house. On top of that, you know what I'm talking about? You were around here hunting Stanley playing house when you were little. You were hunting on the little girls in the neighborhood, acting like daddy done came home, you done paid the bills and all that. There, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But this is stuff you're doing, but then we're not being properly prepared for that. And you end up wanting to be a husband, but then you find out what it entails and you don't want to be a husband. You say you want to be and it's more so on little girls because they push the narrative of wanting to be a mother and a wife on little girls a lot harder because that's what they should want to be. But then at the same token, they telling you know what? Like that video I put in there when that lady was talking about how women can become value with men because you live in a feminist society. So in a feminist society, they tell a woman it's not fulfilling for you to be a mother and a wife. But in reality, in ancient times, and in further East Coast, you know, a housewife is held in high regard. You know what I'm talking about? She's held in very, very high regard because the society can function, the culture, I should say, can function in the fashion that it's supposed to function in because she's playing her role. And now I need to be fulfilled in my career and I need to do this here and do this here. Now you 35 years old talking about you want to have a baby. Don't nobody want to have no old lady baby. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna want to run around and take care of that. A dude on my page was just talking about this. That nigga said, don't have kids after 30, cuz. He said, don't do it. And nigga say it's rough. It's rough. Nigga say my knees don't feel the same. I said, this nigga is wild. You know what I'm saying? But it's the aspect of understanding that. I know women who love their kids, but they ain't want to be no mother though. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that go along with that, they ain't want to do that. I definitely know dudes that had churn, and clearly, you know, they ain't want to be no daddy because them niggas slid. You know what I'm saying? So it goes along with that. So Yahuwah wants to be a husband to you. He wants to be a father to you. But you got to want to be a son or a daughter. And you got to want to be a wife to him. And that's doing the things that please him. See, once we get it in our mind that it's our duty to please him, then everything, it gets a little different. Let's go over here to Luke chapter 8, though, and verse 10. Like I had shared that little thing that brother put out there. I agree with him too, wholeheartedly. Y'all definitely showed more favor in the text to people who believed in him versus those who just kept Torah. You see that repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? He know if you believe in him, you're gonna keep Torah. That's a given. Luke 8 and 10. He said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Elohim, but to others, he say, but to others in parables that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of Elohim. Those by the wayside are they that hear, and then come the devil and take away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. Now notice he said that, and it's going to get to it because we talked about that verse a little bit last night, but I wanted to go more in depth on it, but we didn't get the opportunity to. But most high willing, we're going to do it right now. Notice the difference between this one and Matthew. He said they hear, but he snatched it. So that means that when they heard, they didn't believe it. He says, they on the rock are they which when they hear receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. And that which fell among the thorns are they which when they have heard go forth and are choked with the cares and riches and pleasures of this life and bring forth no fruit to perfection. Now see, I mentioned that last night, right? A lot of people in this word ain't gonna bring no fruit to perfection because you worry about the wrong things. You worry about what politicians doing. You worry about what celebrities doing. You worry about what athletes doing. You worry about how rich you can get. You worry about everything else. And that word is not going to be able to take root and bring forth the fruit that's necessary for you to able to be perfected by it. Because you worry about it. And we already know what black folks always worry about the wrong thing. Always worry about the wrong thing. But the things that you ought to know, you don't know. He said, but that on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience. He said, no man when he have lighted a candle cover it with a vessel, but put it under a bed, but set it on the candlestick, that they which men are in may see the light. For nothing is secret thou shalt not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Take heed therefore how you hear, for whosoever have, to him shall be given, and whosoever have not, from him shall be taken even that which he seen he have. So notice, right, he gave you 4 different scenarios of how people hear. He said you need to take heed how you hear. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people don't take heed to how they hear when that word comes. See, let's look at the Deuteronomy chapter 4. Well, actually, Deuteronomy chapter 6. My apologies. I almost skipped over that. Deuteronomy 6 and 3, because we did look at that first, and then we went to Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy 6 and 3. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, observe to do it. Now notice he told you to hear. He told you need to take the heed therefore how you hear. So you got some people who hear the word and don't believe it. You got people who hear the word and they don't have no root in themselves, and when a little trouble comes, they want to get flustered and walk away. You got some people when they hear it, they're concerned about everything else but the word, and then you got people who hear and they do it. And they do it with patience. See, that's a lot of people's problem too, is you ain't got no patience. See, you know what I'm saying? And you want instant gratification. You want what you want when you want it on your time, and if it don't come, then you don't want to participate in it anymore. And that's not how life works. You know what I'm saying? You don't even got to be the word. You got to have some sort of patience. That's why a lot of people do a lot of schemes in this country trying to get rich, because you're trying to make shortcuts. But as you already stated, if you do shortcuts in the beginning, you're going to end up doing more work on the back end when you should have just did all the work on the front end. You wouldn't have to be worried about having to do all that extra work, because taking shortcuts really only means one thing. You don't want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So you feel like if I take a shortcut, I can accelerate the process. That's not the reality of life. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, observe to do it, that it might be well with you, and that you might increase mightily, as Yahuwah Elohim or Yahweh have promised you, in the land that flow with milk and honey. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah Elohim is one Yahuwah, and you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. See, this is what I was mentioning before. If you love your husband, then you're going to take joy in doing the things that pleases him, because you love him with all your heart. This is why he gave the scenario of a man treating his wife like a Mashal treated the body, and that a woman loving her husband like you love the Lord. That's why he gave you that example. Because if you can manifest that example in the flesh, then you can manifest that example towards him in heaven. It's not going to be that hard. It's very, very simple. You know what I'm saying? What Mashiach did in his ministry, it was nothing complex about it. It was very, very simple. You know what I'm talking about? And when you see that as very, very simple, then you can be able to flourish in any role, in any capacity that Yahuwah places you in. You won't have a problem flourishing. But if you try to do the role how you want to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like Lil Muffin asked me this the other day. If you're a wife and you know that the scriptures have certain expectations of you, but your husband don't hold you to them expectations, are you free to not do it? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, the expectation of Yahuwah is the expectation of Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? So just because your husband don't hold you to that standard has absolutely nothing to do with you. Do not risk your soul because you feel like, well, my husband don't care, because your husband in heaven cares. You know what I'm talking about? And you have to remember that. You know what I'm saying? If you know what he say your role is, then you need to fulfill that duty. Because he'll pay the penalty on his end for not holding that standard on his end. That doesn't necessarily mean you may go to hell, but you might get some correction upside your head that you didn't have to get. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants you to, you got to remember, everything we do is a representation of the kingdom of heaven. There's a relationship between Yahusha and his wife. So this is why he set those standards. Because if you sit back and look at it, he definitely told Yasharal to serve him, right? And then who did he set to hold them to that standard? He set the priests and the prophets. Hold these people to this standard. It didn't matter if the priests and the prophets didn't hold it to the standard. Yahuwah still came to them people and said, you're not holding my standard. You know what I'm saying? This is why he say your prophets haven't found your iniquity to remove your banishment from you. Because they're not holding you to this. You know what I'm talking about? So you feel like you free from the burden or the responsibility, if you will. And you're not. You're not free from it. Yahuwah, he done laid down the edict. It is what it is. You got to follow that. You know what I'm saying? Where we at? That's good enough. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Because we already know if that husband wasn't holding up his standard, every last woman walking this earth in this word would seek to hold him to it. You know what I'm saying? I would wager all you women have an expectation that this man gonna pay them bills. You know what I'm talking about? That's his duty, is it not? That's his duty given to him from Yahuwah, not from man. Like I just told a brother earlier, this is Yahuwah's culture. This is Yahuwah's way. They didn't come from no man, so we have to stop looking at stuff from that eyesight. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all said it's supposed to be. So if you love him, you should delight in doing what it's supposed to be because you're trying to get your reward. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? You ain't got nothing to do with your husband getting a reward, and your husband ain't got nothing to do with you getting yours. You know what I'm saying? But you got something to do with how you serve your husband so you can get your reward. And he got something about to do with how he served you so he can get his reward. Because at the end of the day, we represent Yahuwah. And that's the number one thing that you have to remember. You represent Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? You don't represent yourself. You represent Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? And when, as far as the man is concerned, the woman represents her man and Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? So don't poorly reflect on your man with your conduct. Don't poorly reflect on your God with your conduct. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. Deuteronomy chapter 4, man, and verse 9. He said, only take heed to yourself and keep your soul diligently, lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, unless they depart from your heart all the days of your life, but teach them your sons and your son's son. Notice what he said, right? To take heed to yourself, lest you forget them. What did we see with the first person when he told you to take heed how you heard? They heard the word, but the devil snatched it because they didn't diligently hearken to what was said to them. You know what I'm saying? See, in the Epistle of Hebrews, he said you need to give a more earnest heed to the things that you've heard, lest they slip. Now, I just encountered this with an individual, that they asking me questions about stuff that they had already learned. Well, you're asking these questions because you didn't earnestly take heed, or shamar, because that's the word for heed there. You didn't listen with the intent to obey. So you're not going to remember. He's going to make sure that you forget it. You know what I'm saying? Come on over here to Romans 1 and 28, because I know I mentioned that last night as well. 1 and 28. I think I did Romans 10 too, and then after that it ended. It did. And you already know I've always used them examples of the two main examples you see in the text. Because if you can see that and master that, then your soul will be saved. You know what I'm saying? Your soul will be saved. If you can master your role as he's laid it out, and whatever you fall in, your soul will be saved. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? If you fall into how he set it up, your soul will be saved. If you get caught up in this new age that we live in and all the extra concepts that they put in and this, that, there, and the third, your soul's not gonna be saved. Ain't a man walking. You know what I'm saying? Should be looking at his wife and talking about, why don't you help me pay a bill or two? Then why did you come to serve Yahuwah and get married if you looked your wife in the face and said that to her? You know what I'm saying? But on the reverse side, the woman shouldn't come look to her husband and say, help me with these kids in the house. That's your job. He's providing you on his end. You have to do your job. When you do your job, then the kingdom of heaven is manifest. You think Yahuwah came to them and say, I ain't going to do my job and keep the covenant and do this, that, there, and the third. Y'all do it. You know what I'm saying? That sounds backwards. You have to do your job. You do your job, he can do his job. And then y'all can do it together. And then it benefits everyone because everything's working in a cohesive unit. Now, most of y'all done worked on jobs where people wanted you to do somebody else's job that wasn't your job, and you didn't like it, did you? You know what I'm saying? So when you working in that relationship, you shouldn't be looking for the other person to do your job because they're not going to like it. Because I know full well, ain't there one of you women going to be comfortable with this nigga come and tell you, you need to pay some of these bills. That don't even sound right. That don't even sound right. But guess what this society tell you, though? That you a housewife and he should help you even though he been working 12, 16 hours a day. Now, how that work? That don't make sense either. Just like I had told a brother, I told a brother the other day, like, your wife say she want to come before Yahuwah. I say you should have her say out loud, her name here, put me before Yahuwah so she can see how much of a jackass she sounds, how stupid you sound. You know, because sometimes you don't realize how stupid something sounds till you say it out loud. You know what I'm saying? Because once you say out your mouth, I want to come before Yahuwah, then you realize you really sound stupid. But you'll be surprised how many women out here want their husband to put them before Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? How does that work? You know what I'm talking about? If you know that this man is providing for you, then it shouldn't be no problem for you to fulfill his will and to do the things that makes him happy. You know what I'm talking about? Like, have you niggas even asked this nigga what makes him happy? Have you even asked? Do you even know? Do you even care? You know what I'm talking about? Because ain't that what you're supposed to be doing with Yahuwah? What is that? Deuteronomy chapter 6? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 so I can tell you why I'm mentioning this here, man. Because I was talking to my homeboy about this here, man, because he said he feel like sometimes his wife don't care about doing what make him happy. We definitely talked with a brother today. His wife is a stone cold whore. And he finna marry her. Well, he ain't married to her yet, but he finna marry her. She done told him she's a whore. Like I said, I ain't never trust that go on break stuff. Let's go on a break. So you want to be a whore. That's what she did. And guess what she did? Slept with 4 niggas. Now you want to come back over here. No, you break over there with them 4 niggas you been laying with. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't none of that break. All that break mean is I'm going to go be a hoe till I'm ready to come back to you. And you going to be simping up to pick me back up after I'm finished. No, ma'am. Go around there with your whole friends and do that. No, that ain't what I want. Hold on. That ain't what I want. Hold on. Deuteronomy 6 ain't what I want. You ever had somebody try you like that, Johnny? Because I seen that tickles you. You had a chick try you with a break, Johnny?
I definitely pulled a gold break card a couple times.
You pulled a gold break. You were hard during that break, wasn't you?
Yeah. That was definitely the intention.
Look and see, that was the intention. I can't even remember where that's at. You can't. That's what people be doing. Like, I'm gonna take a break from the word. He finna go home. You know what I'm talking about? You don't see niggas do it in my life, though. I need to take a break, get my thoughts together, make sure this is what I want to do with my life. That nigga finna serve ball. You know what I'm talking about? Astaroth and Tammuz around here, nigga. Maybe a little pan. Stanley, you know I ain't lying. Nigga hit you with a move real quick on that one, man. I can't recall where it is in Deuteronomy, but we could come to Psalms 119 and 90 though. You laugh because you know you've heard of these somebody gonna take a break from the word. I need to re-examine my faith. Yeah, the man is as strong as the weakest link. You know what I mean? So you have to take that in mind, man. And all of them mentioning this stuff for is not just for you to get so focused on the natural, but to take that natural and apply it to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Get your soul saved. Because I guarantee you right now, boy, Yahuwah is not coming to you telling you to play his role. You know what I'm saying? So you can't come to Yahuwah and tell him to play your role. Because guess what, nigga? He already did it when he sent his son. So you can't ask him to do that. Can't ask him to do that. It ain't right. Psalms 119 and 89. It ain't right. It just ain't right. Got to play your position. He say, forever, O Yahuwah, your word is settled in Shamahim. Your faithfulness is under all generations. You establish the earth and it abides. You continue this day according to your ordinance, for all are your servants. You know what he say? You see what he said? How he say he continued this day according to his word. And everything. See, this is the thing that they don't mention to y'all. Y'all do know in ancient times, you know what your wife, you got something in your chair. You know what your wife was. I'm talking about you. You got something in your chair. That is your chair. I apologize. It looked like he got something in his beard right there. Oh, yeah, he definitely got. Okay, I knew it was something. I wasn't tripping. But like I said, right, y'all know in ancient times, and still in the East right now, you know what a wife was considered to be, right? Who knows what a wife was considered to be? A possession, a property. You know what I'm saying? That only the possession of the daughter was transferred from her father to her husband. So, and this is something that you realize too, right? How many times your people told you take care of what you got? So if you realize that your wife is your possession, you're supposed to take care of what you got. You know what I'm saying? So Yahuwah, remember what Yahuwah said? He said he took us as what? His possession. This is my wife. I'm taking over, because all it is I'm taking over control or direction over something. So I'm going to take care of what I got. So if you the possession, how can the possession tell the possessor to do its job? That don't work. You can't go. Black people like to do it. You can't go on a people's job and tell them what you gonna do on their job. You know what I'm saying? It's theirs. You know what I'm talking about? I own and control this. But you telling me what you gonna do and what you're not gonna do. This is what this society has taught us to do, and in many different scenarios. This society allowed children to tell their parents what they are and what they aren't gonna do. You know what I'm saying? But you know why it's like that? Because this is a corporation. When you got that birth certificate and you signed it, you signed a bond saying that you are the caretaker of this particular piece of stock certificate, which is your child. This is why the woman usually gets more rights. Whoever has the child is the one who has control over the asset or the stock. That's how they do it. Usually the woman has that child, and when you sign that birth certificate, that's why you can be held to pay child support, even if it's found out that the child is not yours. You know what I'm saying? Because you have signed a legal financial instrument and saying that you are responsible for this legal. But see, people don't realize that and know that. But guess what, though? In this society, a woman would throw a hissy fit if a nigga didn't sign that birth certificate. You know what I'm saying? Now, most niggas don't sign it because they just don't want to sign it. Some dudes don't sign it because they know the implications of what happens when you sign it. Same different when you sign a Social Security card. Look at it. Y'all know, we didn't talk about this before. It's on stock paper. Your Social Security card, I haven't seen a birth certificate clearly because, well, I got my own. It's on stock paper. I forgot about that. I got my own. It's on stock paper. Forgive me, I had a moment. Y'all ever looked at your birth certificates and see that junk is on stock paper? You ever looked at your Social Security card and seen that's on stock paper? Nigga, they be trading your churn to stock options on the stock market every day. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even know. You don't even know. Yeah, and guess what? You know why they kill niggas? They kill niggas because they feel like that stock ain't making us no money. Get that nigga out of here. You know what I'm saying? You ever wonder why judges got computers on they what you call it, on the bench? Because he get money. Why you think them crackers be so pressed to pushing you to get child support? Because they get paid off the transaction. You know what I'm saying? Just like they get paid off every criminal court case. They get paid off of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just understanding the reality of the system that you live in. Like what I was telling you the other day. You looked up the Virginia contract? You ain't looking up. You ain't about nothing. fooling you. I ain't fooling with you till 2 days from now. But but no, like you look at the Virginia contract, the United States government is owned. The main shareholder of the U.S. is Great Britain. You know what I'm saying? This is a real document. You can look it up. You know what I'm saying? Technically, the United States was incorporated in 1871, but you can go look. Title 28. You know what I'm saying? United States Code. The United States is a corporation. That's what we tell you. You can't believe nothing you see from the TV. This is a corporation. At the end of the day, it's all business, baby. All the other stuff is just a minstrel show. It's just to entertain the bottom feeders. In the history of mankind. In the history of mankind. You know what I'm saying? Because all they're doing is taking and they're playing with your emotions. And when I can manipulate your emotions, then I can steer you in whatever direction that I want you to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And they have a different set of psychological attacks for every nationality of people. They're not going to come at black people like they come at Asian people because you don't have the same triggers. They're not going to come at Hispanics like they come at Caucasians. Don't have the same triggers. You know what I'm saying? Don't work that way. Like, y'all already know this. When the police come to the house, who the first person they ask for? The woman. You know why they ask for the woman? Because they trained to ask for the woman, because they know the woman run the household in black communities. They're not going to a Hispanic household and ask for the woman. Because that's still a patriarchal culture where they come from. They're not going to no white house. The white person house, it's just going to all depend, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask for the man. But for black folks, though, they trained to ask for the woman. You know what I'm saying? Because the woman runs stuff. They know the man don't run his household. That's why when they do psychological attacks on black people, who do they market to and go after? They go after the woman, because they know the woman gonna tell the man what to do in the black community, and he gonna do it. They don't even respect your rulership as a man. You know what I'm talking about? And then also this year I was listening to something the other day, and this is a true story. You know why a lot of people don't like Floyd Mayweather? Why do you think a lot of people don't like Floyd Mayweather? Too cocky and arrogant? Why do you think people don't like Floyd?
He's doing what he want to do. He's worried about people trying to influence him to do what he know not beneficial for himself.
And you know what you said, how people view him is because he think like that. And you know what that is? That's a ruling class mentality. That's a ruling class mentality. Like when T.I. came at him, nigga, you wearing Gucci. He like, nigga, what I look like, crying? Mr. White Man, you made me look like a monkey. Nigga, if I want to wear Gucci, nigga, I'ma wear it. Nigga, I don't beg no cracker, nigga. That's what he basically said. Nigga, if I want to wear it, I'ma wear it. And what? Nigga, that don't dictate what I'm doing. The same woke niggas, super woke niggas, I'm so black niggas, probably ain't did nowhere near what Floyd done did for black people. That he know in his personal circle. His forth is hiring niggas, giving niggas jobs, probably helping niggas run companies. Ain't none of the rest of the niggas doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Florida buy $18 million watch. That don't mean he ain't doing stuff for niggas, but he think like a king though. And a king is not concerned with the thoughts of others. You know what I'm talking about? I do what it is that I do. And that alienates people because people don't like that. People want you to agree with them. And people want you to lower yourself. That's why I went over that verse last week in Nehemiah. I'm not coming down to you. You're going to have to come up to me because I'm a king. Nigga, what you mean? I'm the governor of Yasharal. I'm doing a great work. And you want me to come down off this wall to attend to this nonsense what you got going on. Nigga, get out my face. And what that made Sam Ballard didn't want to do, kill him. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have a ruling class mentality. You have to know that I can do whatever it is that I want to do. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm going to tell you this is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to work towards it. And I don't beg anybody for anything. I'm not begging this woman to be with me. I'm not begging these people to treat me accordingly. I'm not saying I can't do something because the white man won't give it to me. I'm a king. I'm a ruler. I'm going to conduct myself in that fashion. Most of our people don't do that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that mind frame. And when you express that mind frame, people don't like it. Who that nigga think he is? Just like how Stanley described it, that's how people look at Floyd Mayweather. That nigga arrogant. Why? Because he believe in himself? Because he had the heart to say, why would I let these people make hundreds of millions of dollars off of me when I can make it off myself? I'm going to cut you out because I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? That's a ruling class mentality. And a lot of black people don't have that. And when you see it, you don't like it because most of us want us to be slaves. You know what I'm saying? They think like a slave. They have a poor man's mentality. They have a loser's mentality. And they want you to have one as well. You know what I'm saying? I utterly refuse. You know what I'm talking about? You can't think that way. Not if you're gonna say you like black folks like to scream, I'm a king, I'm this, that, then the third, but you don't think like one. Black women say she a queen, but if you look in and of course if she say she a queen, 9 times out of 10 she's absolutely right. She probably is a whore and a banshee, but nevertheless. But if you would say you were a woman of royalty, women of royalty carried themselves with dignity, class, and humility, and rarely spoke. You know what I'm saying? They did things through their actions. But see, y'all believe all that stuff they put on TV, and that junk ain't real. Real women of royalty were very regal, classy, honorable, modest, humble women. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, all you gotta do is read a little bit of history, start watching TV. You know what I'm talking about? Stop believing what they tell you, and actually go read a book, do some research. You'll see some things ain't what you thought it was. I mean, that's just programming with Nipsey Hussle, but we don't went over that. So we're gonna let Nipsey stay wherever he may be. Whether it's in that graveyard in LA or somewhere in the island, laughing at niggas smoking marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Which one it is, I do not know. I know them niggas shot a music video at his grave, though. This man, Jay Stone out there shooting. I ain't shooting no video at no nigga grave. Song was tight. I would believe that. I'm not that familiar with it, but anywhere I go, I ain't going to no graveyard. All them niggas at the graveyard with idolatrous jackets on to this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got time. Right after the funeral. It be stuff, but that's LA though. That's what they do. They do weird stuff like that. Psalms 119 and 92. This is what he said, right? He said, unless your Torah had been my delight, I should have perished in my affliction. I will never forget your precepts, for with them you have quickened me. I am yours, save me, for I have sought your precepts. But notice he said, unless your Torah was my delight. He said, unless I delighted in your instructions and in your word, I would have perished in my suffering. See how that's the difference between the person who, when temptation arises, they fall away? Because there was root, because I had delight in it. So I just can't remember where it's at in Deuteronomy, and it troubles me. But it definitely says in Deuteronomy to do all those. Oh, that's what it is. I'm thinking wrong. Go back to the book of Deuteronomy. I couldn't remember. I know it's in Deuteronomy 6, but I ain't looked at that verse in so long that I can't remember it off the top of my head. And it was. I knew I was in the right place. I just didn't want to waste time looking up and down the page. Deuteronomy 6 and 14. Make it 13. He said, you shall fear Yahuwah your Elohim and serve him. You shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods. Let's see like this here, right? Because the brother made a good point. Y'all do know the definition of God, El, Elohim. You know the definition. What the definition of it? Or whatever. Mighty one or powerful one, right? Niggas say the black woman God, right? I ain't never seen a powerful black woman in my life. Not on that level of what God mean. I ain't never seen one. Solomon said he ain't never seen one, so I know if he ain't seen one, I ain't seen one. He's seen thousands, you know, and that's why I'm basing it off of. If Solomon ain't seen one, I know I ain't seen one. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you say this woman a God, I mean, and when we say power, because that goes into that's what the brother was talking about, something that we didn't talk about before. If the woman is God and she's powerful, that means she's a threat. And where has the black woman been a threat at on the face of the earth in the history of mankind? She has not been a threat. So therefore, she can't be a God because she ain't no threat. Ain't no white man to worry about. I'm worried about them black women coming to get us. Yeah.
Even with that word, like you got that Lamar.
That's teaching. So
that's all man.
All man.
Shepherds down.
All man.
Teacher.
All man. In their DNA. They nurturers. You know what I'm saying? The woman's role is very, very vital. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of dudes try to see the woman's role is very, very vital when she's working in her role because she's irreplaceable. You know what I'm talking about? Just like that brother be talking about, like a man can't bring a family together or people together like a woman can. You know what I'm saying? A woman can do that. A woman is a nurturer, and she's a guider, and she's a comforter, and she's an aid, and she's a help. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, and that is irreplaceable. You know what I'm saying? A woman had, just like it say in Proverbs, a woman got wisdom just like a man got wisdom. She ain't dumb, she got skill, but also it says she's got the law of kindness in her mouth. So that means that she, with her words, she has the ability to be kind and heal a heart and comfort or soothe people with her kindness and her love and her compassion. Yeah, a man can do that, but they can't do it like a woman can do it. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing wrong with that. See, that's what the problem in this society is that a man trying to feel like I can do what a woman can do, and the woman feel like I can do what the man can do, when just do what y'all ordained you to do. And it's easier that way. Don't try to do what she can do. Let her excel in what it is that she does. You know what I'm saying? Let him excel in what it is that he does. Ain't no man can't keep no house like no woman. You know what I'm talking about? Period. If he do, that nigga got sugar in his tank. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about keeping your house, ain't like, oh, it's clean and it's organized. It's more to keeping the house. Keeping the house functional and running. A man can't do that like a woman can. Because that's how she was made to do that. She was made for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? You could do it, but you're not going to do it like she can do it. You know what I'm talking about? Not if she's been trained on how to do it. Ain't no way in the world. You know what I'm saying? Could a man sit in the house and watch the kids and do all this type of stuff? Yeah, he could do it. But you talking about on a day in, day out basis to keep that house functional and moving and flowing it the way it's supposed to. You weren't given that DNA structure to go how to do that. You were given the DNA structure to get the house for her to keep. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Ain't that how he laid it out? Guess what? What did he do? Did he not get a house for Yasharal? This your house, you keep it. You know what I'm saying? This your role, keep the house. Yeah, I can keep the house, but I made it for you to keep it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't keep it, guess what I'm gonna do with your bald headed hoe? I'm gonna put you out. You know what I mean? Stuff's simple, bro. Stuff is very, it's not complex. Like I say, man, all you gotta do is sit down, have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like in ancient times, the daughter may be involved, the daughter may not be involved. But there would be expectations laid out from the father's side to the husband side. You know what I'm talking about? This is what I expect from your daughter. This is what I expect from your son. You had those conversations. You define your roles. You work in your roles. Everything's cool. If there's an issue, you can have a conversation. Your wife may disagree with you on a matter. It's okay as long as she can do it in a respectful fashion. Because you should never disrespect your husband in any shape, form, or fashion. I don't care what done went down. There's no license anywhere for you to disrespect your husband. I don't care what he did. You know what I'm saying? The world tell you can disrespect your husband. Well, he did me wrong. I'm gonna tell him about himself. You going to hell too. Just know that that's what's gonna happen. Because I guess what? You ain't gonna disrespect the Lord, is it? So you're supposed to look at your husband in the same fashion. In the book say Abigail said her husband was a straight up fool. You know what I'm saying? That's how she described him, as a fool. Did it not? I bet she ain't disrespecting though. It said Abigail was a woman of wisdom and understanding. You think she ain't having no wisdom and understanding? No, just because my husband evil, that don't give me no license to disrespect him. Don't give me no license to do that. So you have to look at it in that fashion. Bump what the world talking about and what your emotions is saying. You better stick with that word. You better let that word rein them emotions in. I wouldn't care if that nigga went was. I wouldn't care if that nigga went and shot a porno with 15 different women. You better sit there and keep your mouth closed. Do you know what I'm saying? It's forfeit if you can't talk to him without no disrespect. You know what I'm talking about? It's better for you to keep your mouth closed. You know it tell you that in Proverbs too, don't y'all know that, right? Did you know that? Did it tell you keep your mouth closed if you ain't got nothing righteous to say? Hold on, I'll show it to you. Hold on. We come right back to Deuteronomy 6. Come over here to Proverbs 30, 31. Yeah, I tell you that. If you ain't got nothing good to say, so keep your mouth closed. That ain't just no colloquialism from regular people. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. That's in the word. So you better shut your mouth. That's in that word. But what? But watch your mouth. You already told you that. It's never your place to check or disrespect your husband. You know what I'm talking about? That's not your place. There's protocol for it. You know what I'm saying? There's protocol for it as far as our culture of heaven is concerned. You know what I'm saying? There's protocol for it. Let me find the verse that I want. Proverbs 30. Well, straight up, this verse 31, I guess, 32. It says, if you've done foolishly in lifting up yourself, or if you thought evil, lay your hand upon your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you know disrespecting your husband would be considered to be what? Evil. So if you thinking evil in your head, put your hand on your mouth and shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's for your soul's sake. Because what does Matthew 12 tell you? Man gonna be judged by everything that come out his mouth. You know what I'm saying? They see you thinking a nigga saying that like, so if this nigga do this, I can't say nothing. You can say it, but you could be risking your soul. Is expressing yourself worth your soul when you know this nigga wrong? You don't know, you ain't out there tell this nigga he wrong. He already knew he was wrong when he did it. You know what I'm talking about? So ain't no need to do all that. That's the emotional side of the woman. You feel like I got to get this out. You know what I'm saying? And you very well may can get it out. But that's not your place though. Because you're going to place yourself out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious. One thing for certain, two things for sure. You ain't. It's not your job. That nigga, like I said, we lived in like a regular community, like in the land, and a nigga did something like that. That nigga get drugged in front of the elders or the judges about what he did. That's what they did. It wasn't no that stay in house. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't you told your friends and family. They drugged that nigga right in front of the elders. Look at this nigga right here. You know what I'm saying? Look at this nigga right here. Because they wanted everybody in the community to know that that's not acceptable. That's it. That's the whole purpose of it. You live in a different time. Just like people say, oh, if your woman say something in public, correct her in private. No, you supposed to straighten her right then and there on the spot. You know what I'm talking about? Our culture don't move that way. You supposed to straighten her on the spot. Because you know why? Because it's going to be four other wives watching you feel like, well, shoot, that nigga let her disrespect it. I can disrespect mine too. See, we don't operate like that. We're very open. We're a very open culture of people. You know what I'm saying? You get out of pocket, everybody gonna know it. You think he checked David? What he did with David, didn't he? He put him on blast for everybody, didn't he? He said, you did it in the dark, I'm gonna do this in the light to you, nigga. And he checked him in private. Then he checked him in public too. That's how y'all operate. You know what I'm saying? We live in a culture now, you worrying about people's feelings or you worrying about the optics. See, most people worry about optics and narrative. Like you mentioned, like you already know that they mention that with LeBron all the time. He like to control the narrative. See, most people you want to control the story. It ain't about controlling the story. It's about saving your soul. Back to Deuteronomy 6. That's all it's about. It's about saving your soul. Word, indeed, and definitely indeed. We definitely will be. Every idle word come out your mouth, you're gonna be judged for it. So if you know that and you thinking evil, it might be wise for you to put your hand over your mouth, keep your mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of game. You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But when that man sit back and tell you, you know, you thought evil in your heart and then you ran it out your mouth and disrespect your husband about 15 times. Let me show you when you did it. What you gonna say to that? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say to that? I just had a conversation with somebody about that. Nigga, you had churn out of wedlock, nigga. Nigga, that's a testimony against you. You just gonna set the baby right there. What do you got to say? What you got to say? And I ain't talking about you did it and then you got in the word and got corrected. I'm talking about you did it while you was in it or you wasn't never in it. There's nothing you can say. Yahusha can't even defend you on that cross-examination because they go to evidence right here because he's your lawyer. He there to advocate on your behalf and say, nah, he's straight. We dismissed them charges. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, man, he ain't going to be able to dismiss them charges. That man want to dismiss your charges, man. You know what I'm saying? That man want to dismiss your charge. He don't want to read these charges and be like, we adjudicate you guilty. That's not his desire. He has no pleasure in doing so. We're in Deuteronomy 6 and 15. He said, Yahuwah your Elohim is a jealous Elohim among you, lest the anger of Yahuwah Elohim be kindled against you and destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim as you tempted in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim and his testimonies and his statutes which he command you. And you shall do that which is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah, that it might be well with you, and that you might go in and possess the good land which Yahuwah swear unto your fathers. Notice what he said, you'll do that which is right and good in his sight. So if a woman is supposed to be serving her husband as unto the Lord, the things that he laid down are the things that are right and good in his sight, and you ought to take pleasure in doing them. It doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. Nobody asked you. You shouldn't have gotten married. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're gonna serve Yahuwah. You know, if you in the world and you get married, that's different. They got a different set of rules. They got a different set of rules. But if you're gonna be in this right here, then you got to do it how he said it, because you put your soul at risk. See, it's not so. See, you can't have the thought process. It's about you, because what the book say: if a man don't take care of his household, then what has he done? He has denied the faith, and he is worse than an infidel. So if he choose not to do that, he going to hell behind that. If this nigga provokes his wife, or he's wrathful to his wife, or he provokes his children, he gonna answer for that. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't gonna be like, well, I ain't want to do this here to this woman. What are most brews? We done talk about it too many times, but most brews find out about the rulership of the husband and rule over their wife with rigor. You don't think that nigga going to hell for that? You know what I'm saying? He gonna answer for that. If you didn't want to serve this woman as a Mashiach served his wife, then you shouldn't have gotten married. If you wanted to be an old gorilla pimping nigga, you know what I'm saying? You should have stayed over there gorilla pimping. You can't bring that over here to you. You know what I'm saying? That's just the point I'm making. That when you come into this way, there's a way of doing things. But the reason why we don't operate that way is because we don't have a culture. So when you don't have a culture, you don't have rules, conduct, regulations on how you govern yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're going to govern yourself just like it said in the book of Judges. There was no king in those days, and every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And that's what we have now. Everyone is doing that which is right in their own eyes. You know what I'm saying? But we got to do which is right in the eyesight of Yahuwah. Where we at now? I need Romans chapter 1. One and 28 or 26. See, she was just telling me before, right? I want to ask y'all a question. I ask y'all, if a grown man asked his homeboy, do your booty clap, what would you say about this thing? This is a true story. This really happened. This is not a joke. No. Y'all know that dude Zach May? Yeah. That's him. And he was on FaceTime. Yeah. No, like, they put this out. This is real story. It's a true story. Yeah, like, if you go to his post, like, he was gay. You don't think that's gay? You don't think that's burning with an inordinate desire? Then they also say the nigga was on FaceTime with a nigga while his meat was swinging. Shoot, what's the difference? I'm telling you right now, and one of you niggas FaceTime me naked, boy, I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna let you know now. I'm gonna block you. When you call a nigga phone, that junk go straight to voicemail. Don't be shocked, cause I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna block you in real life too. Cause you come through the door, you know what I'm gonna tell him, Stanley? Go to your father's house. We said, you definitely is, nigga. You definitely is, nigga. Lord have mercy. Forgive me. Let me get myself under control. I feel you though, Dwight. That nigga said it though. It's not a cap. No, do you see? That's the thing. See, you say that because you're not a man. Oh, you know him? Well, of course. I don't care where he went. That nigga could have went to the SP Livingston. That nigga's a faggot. You understand what I'm telling you? Straight up and down. No real man play no games like that, man. You understand me? I just said that because of what we finna read in Romans 1. That's only read 5 minutes. Romans 1 and 26. Make it 1 and 24. It says, wherefore Elohim also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Because a nigga making that statement, you don't make that statement unless that desire is in your heart. So then eventually Yahuwah just gives you over to that desire. Because if you strong enough to ask a grown man that, you've probably already asked a grown man to do some unseemly things to you or to him. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee it. Just like the brother was talking about when Gabrielle Union went on Sway Show talking about niggas should eat butt and get their butt ate because they trying to turn you into a homosexual. Period, point blank. They're trying to turn y'all want to just out the blue eat booty like groceries. You know where that coming from? Because once you get comfortable enough to place your butt on her your mouth on her anus, then she gonna want to turn around and do it to you. Then once she turn around and do it to you, then she gonna be able to size you. Well, let me get the pocket rocket. You know what I'm saying? Then from the pocket rocket, let me bring James in. You know what I'm saying? It's a slow process. You're a grown man. Ain't nobody got no business around that area. That's exit only. That is a waste depository system. You understand? Got no business with that. But I'm talking about the programming. Because you know what I'm saying? Because Gabrielle Union is on there talking about trying to use sex as an equality thing. But in saying, you know, if I do oral sex on you, you should do it on me. And if I eat your butt, you should let me eat yours. But the whole time is to create perversion. You know what I'm saying? Whole bunch of people was walking around here talking about eating booty like groceries, like it's cool. Ain't nothing cool about eating no booty, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, that junk ain't cool. I mean, even before that junk was popular, my homeboy used to stand out, nigga, I eat booty. Nigga, what's wrong with you? Don't get that nigga the weed. You know what I'm saying? This nigga talking about he eat booty. Nigga, it's bad enough to put your mouth on a coochie, you eat booty? That's the world you live in. And guess what? I just seen a photograph of at a gay pride parade. They had an 8-year-old little girl twerking with some grown punks. You know what I'm saying? Because why did they do that? To ease your mind into accepting pedophilia, to make pederasty seem normal to you, to where that's not a problem. The same way I say now it's not a problem for niggas to talk about they eat booty. Because what is it gonna come up to turn you to a pansexual? To turn you pan, nigga, Pied Piper. You down with anything. You the Baphomet, nigga. You androgynous. I don't know if you a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's all it is mental, it's social programming. It's social programming. And you can't ignore it and just think it's a record. Because out of nowhere, this woman ain't even popular no more who made that song. You know what I'm saying? She can't sell a record nowhere. She can't sell a record at a music convention. Nobody want to hear no music from her. They sent her out there just to sing one song. Just the same way they sent that chick Tweet out there to sing one song about masturbating. You don't remember that song? You remember this? I don't remember how it goes. Oops, that's the name of it. Yeah, that song was about masturbating. But I'm talking about that social programming. She ain't had none other song because they son out here, they pushed that song real hard because they wanted little girls to masturbate. I know it sound real good. That's the cap game they tell you. No, that nigga had one song. Just because you like the song don't mean it was a hit. Of course not, because you got to realize something. Records don't get big because you like it. They get big because they play it over and over and over and over again to make you like it. They tell you what you like. Do you know what I'm saying? They tell you what you like. You didn't like it because you liked it. They told you what you like. They tell you what you like. They tell you what you like. Don't play with it. Think it's a game if you want to. You wonder why they send certain people out there to fulfill an agenda. You know what I'm saying? And once we done with you, we gonna send you on your way. We need a tweet to get y'all going. Nigga, I seen Gabrielle Union say she would masturbate at 5 years old. Somebody had to touch you. Somebody had to touch you. You know what I'm saying? But that junk come in the one thing, like I said, to feel comfortable with your sexuality. Why you teaching my daughter to play with herself? But again, that's the key point of even on the natural level. That's taking heed how you hear. Because some people, nigga, I heard that song like that whole nasty and went on about my business. You know what I'm saying? But then they got songs they done put out there with latent homosexual tendencies in them records. And you thinking these dudes is not putting that, they ain't putting that stuff in there by accident. You think these niggas went in there and said, let me make a sissy record. No, somebody told him to make that song. I don't care who it is. Most of them artists get told what to make. You know what I'm saying? Some of them do. Indeed, it is. Yeah, some niggas it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch. Indeed, that's why they choose. That's why they choose. You know what I'm saying?
No straight not I.
I can't recall. I ain't watched a lot of music videos, so I can't call. Who? Onyx. Shoot, that nigga Fredro and Sticky Finger sweet as a goddamn cotton candy, nigga. That nigga Fredro gave us all that dough. Well, I done seen that nigga a couple times, boy. I'm like, that nigga there gay. That nigga Sticky definitely like, boy, it's a how that nigga was playing that role in Dog on Friday. That nigga got that. Somebody got that nigga booty hole. That nigga definitely was emasculated in next Friday. Definitely played an emasculated character. Sticky Fingers, the nigga who was with Debo in the dog truck. That nigga was from Onyx. Slam, nigga, but them niggas wasn't gangsters anyway. Man, if them niggas been in the industry that long, they been controlled. I know who you talking about. You said that. I thought you said a real nigga. And he was lying. That nigga Fredro was lying. That nigga Fredro lied around here talking about what he did with Brandon. Lying. You know what I'm saying? You can't never trust a nigga lie on his penis. You can't trust a nigga lie on his penis. Come on, man. Roman 1:25. You can't trust a nigga lie on his schlong, man. That nigga's in. Yeah, that nigga was outside waiting on the train. He said, who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator who is Baruch forever? Amen. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Also, likewise, also the men leaving the natural use of the woman, burning their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of the error which was meet. Now, this is not just concerned with like dealing with men. When you burning in your heart with a desire that's against the word, then he's going to repay you with according to your error, which is meat. He's going to give you just what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, we live in America. That junk cool everywhere to be a sissy, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool everywhere in Western culture anyway for a woman to be a feminist. A feminist ain't nothing but a woman who wish she had a penis. You know what I'm saying? She really want to be a man. She envies a man. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say that, like, you know, some people feel like Serena Williams is a man. I don't know if she's a man. You know what I'm talking about? They feel like she's a tranny.
I ain't gonna lie. I watched a couple interviews. She don't conduct herself like
Man, who? That hoe ain't feminine. Not how she snapped on that dog. See, that hoe, let me tell you something, right? She has multiple alters. See, these hoes have multiple personalities. And one of her alters is, she might be, but that could be for the camera. You know what I'm saying? She has the altar of the goddess archetype that she walks by, because I believe that whole under some manner of mind control. You know what I'm saying? She got the feminine archetype. She got the feminine, because usually we know she's a feminist because she promotes women's rights real hard. Usually when you see a feminist, and when the brother broke it down, I seen it that way. They really have three things that they roll with: feminism, racism, and globalism. But feminism is always gonna trump like that black man gonna come last. You know what I'm saying? Like her and her sister don't have a track record of really seeking and desiring black men. You know, the culture in this country, people like put it out there that black men marry white women when they get successful, but that's not really true. Cause she's a whore. But she's a whore because they usually keep these athletes under mind control. Shalom, brother Harrison. So when the women when they under mind control, they make them be whores. You know, niggas knock them down and have some fun with them. But you have people who really believe that her and her sister are men. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she's a man or not. I wasn't there, so. Huh? Yeah, there's people who really feel like both of them are men.
But I watched the video. Like I watched a real documentary.
I did.
I seen it. It was the girl, bro.
I seen it too. But they saying this is
like they been on that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Indeed, it is. Now this is how a lot of brothers feel, though. I don't agree with it personally, but brothers feeling like they had gender reassignment surgery as children. Their point is how you got people like Charlie. What her name is? That's what I'm saying. I know this too. I'm like, it's niggas in Compton who know these people. You know what I'm saying? So it's far fetched for me. It's like it's niggas in Compton know these niggas. You know what I'm saying? And you notice one thing about them that they didn't like is that they had a strong father there, and the people could not stand him. You know what I'm saying? They definitely did. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that they're men. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I seen these niggas in videos of small children. It's niggas in Compton who know these niggas. But what these brothers believe is, and some of them be talking is, what it is, Charlie Theron, that's how you say her last name? How some of these rich white actresses are taking their sons. And yeah, people definitely think that Michelle Obama's a man. You know what I'm saying? That no, that's Slim Lasso, man. But that they're how they, yeah. And then that they take it out. Like Charlie Theron has a son and she's raising him as a girl. Like she's dressing him as a girl. He's letting him operate as a girl. A lot of rich white women do this here. They say they don't want to confuse their sons with gender. They just want to let them pick their gender. So she's raising her son as a man. So a lot of brothers believe that that's what happened with him. I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't know about that. I mean, how are you going to explain these children? You know what I'm saying? I gotta have some evidence. You can't throw stuff out there to me and you ain't got no evidence. Just like a nigga say, it's magnets in the basketball in the NBA. It very well may be, but I need some evidence.
At least with me, she was a nigga. She showed her a whole bunch of hoes beat her. Straight up, because they playing in an all women's league. Yeah. You a man, how you let these hoes beat you like that?
Yeah, but that would naturally be shown.
Right, yeah, you should be crushing the competition.
I agree. I don't know, maybe they say that because there was some Amazon. Either way it go, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I felt like that before now. Them some ugly women. You know what I'm saying? Those are not very good.
Have you seen their parents? Have you seen her mother?
No, I haven't seen her mother, but I know that those were some gruesome looking young women. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. See, I ain't say she looked like a man, I said that nigga ugly. You know what I'm saying? She's not a very pretty woman. That's not a woman you look at her and say that's a looker. The only thing you looking back for is she got buns. That's it. She got yams. That's all you looking at. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, you straight. Come on back over here to what I needed to get. Job 42. Niggas be hard on that. That nigga say she's a man, allegedly. I said this nigga's a fool. This nigga's a fool. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's that's been prevailing for a long time. You know, niggas thought Sierra was a man. It do though. I mean, it be room if somebody started and then people go to examine them, they're like, is she a man? Is she not a man? You know what I'm saying? That might be a man though. Lady Gaga might be a man. Now that one there, out of all of them, that one there, like, you know what? That because if she's not a man, that is one ugly woman. Very well. Very well. Job 42:1. It's still talking about the hearing. Yeah, Now, because niggas were talking about Russell Wilson and like this here, like, somebody felt like Russell Wilson's marriage to her was for publicity. Yeah, the basically to throw off that he might be a sodomite. You know what I'm saying? Because no, they was dealing with something about how you could see that Sierra's a feminist because they showed that photograph where she was in her drawers holding little Future butt naked, and then Russell got his hands on her stomach, but you can't see his face. And the subliminal in that photograph is to tell you that the man don't matter. That's why you can't see him. And that basically in the position with his head in her butt cheeks, that he worships the mother goddess, which is Asteroid. Or Sierra. I don't care about that. I'm talking about that photograph. I mean, when you deal with photographs, you're dealing with art. And with art, they're trying to convey a particular message. So if you're taking a family photograph and the husband's face is not in the photograph, and the only thing you can see is his hands, and that he's on his knees, literally with his face in her butt, that is a subservient position. So that is relaying to the viewer of the photograph that he is inconsequential. You know what I'm talking about? And that he is in a service role to this woman. Because she was the only person in the photograph that had on some drawers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was butt booty naked. You know what I'm saying? So she got a little bit decorum. But it's the fact of how many of you niggas would take a family photo and you don't be in the picture? Still don't change the fact you a simp. That you agreed to that.
No, yeah,
They married.
That's what I'm saying. They're married. But what I'm saying is, he might not be cognizant thinking. He might just be like, oh, all right, I'll do a honey type vibe.
You a simp.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You a simp. He's a simp. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's a simp. That nigga's a super simp.
I was not even like, yeah, he like.
Nigga, I'll be damned. We take a family photo and I ain't in it. Who? You pregnant? You pregnant with my baby? Yo, shoot, you gonna see here? That's my handiwork, nigga. That's my child. You know what I'm saying? And I take care of this nigga right here too. I take care of all these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Russell Wilson is definitely a bigger star than Sierra. Her career been over 10 years ago. This nigga make $35 million a year. Sierra ain't made $35 million in her height. Who? Ain't gonna disrespect me like that, and I'm the breadwinner, and nigga don't see my face, nigga. I'm finna be Jesus. Shoot, nigga. Got me bent. Got me bent, nigga. I'm the man in here, nigga. That's my baby in here. Future, I'll take care of this nigga too. Shoot, that nigga get up in the middle of the night in my house. Come on, man.
Exactly.
So hated, bro.
That is so true.
But he wouldn't have been lying though.
Yeah.
Niggas don't like him anyway. Niggas don't like him because they the
I don't know what you can't say that. You don't know what them people like. You don't know what them people told you. You ain't heard Mashal say he ain't like it. I don't care about what Richard Sherman say. That nigga's a fraud himself. But that's neither here nor there. Nah, nigga, the only way I take that is if I heard Mashal say that nigga a whole nigga, then I know it's real.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He'll say
it. He will say it. And I done heard Mashal say I ain't got no problem with this nigga. So if he ain't had no problem with him, then he ain't got no problem with him. Because that might be one of the few niggas that them crackers couldn't control.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just because you might not have a problem with nigga don't mean you respect him.
But Marshawn Lynch ain't the type of nigga to say I ain't got a problem with a nigga who he don't respect.
You gonna say that?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you Russell Wilson was really like that, he would say something.
He wouldn't have a problem with it. Based off observation of how he conduct himself, he ain't had no problem. That's a real nigga. Cause that nigga still be in the hood with dope boys. For no reason. That's the part that killed me, for no reason. Like he ain't there, oh, we doing something. That nigga's just there. You know what I'm saying? This nigga retired from football and came back just so I can play in my city. This nigga cousin got in a fight in the game, and that nigga was finna fight his own teammates. You know what I'm saying? That nigga ain't care nothing about you play for the Raiders, I play for the Rams or for the Chiefs, nigga. That's my first cousin, nigga. Put your hands on him if you want to. Indeed, I don't disagree in the least bit. That's Marcus Peters. That's his first cousin. He ready to bump. Come on, man. Joe 42-1, man. That's just because. So Lane Shooter Simp nigga ain't gonna fight a nigga hit his child. That nigga say hit him softer next time. He say then Joe answered and Yahuwah and said, I know that you can do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from you. Who is he that hide counsel without knowledge? Therefore I've uttered that I understood not things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Let me show y'all another thing with that one now. Hold this here. Go to Psalms 131. Again, this is taking heed to how you hear. Job say, I done took things too wonderful for me, too high for me. Psalms 131-1, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, Matthew 18. It says, Yahuwah, my heart is not haughty, nor my eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters or in things too high for me. See, that's what a lot of people get in problem at, is you worried about things above your pay grade. That's usually pride. You know what I'm saying? If that ain't got nothing to do with you and those don't matters, and that's not matters like other person's lives. It's some things that ain't got nothing to do with you. Like a teacher may not be concerned with what a prophet got going on. Those things ain't got nothing to do with him. And this is David talking. David is saying, hey, my heart, I ain't proud, my eyes ain't lofty, and I don't exercise myself in great matters and things that are too high for me. I'm not concerned with that. Look what he tell you. He say, surely I've behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Now let me ask y'all women a question. How do the children behave once you wean them off the breast? Do you recall how they behave? Because I've never weaned a child off the breast, clearly, so I wouldn't know. Do y'all recall? Do y'all have any idea, ladies, why he would use that scenario? That his soul is like a weaned child. Humble, indeed. Indeed. He said, let Yasharal hope in Yahuwah from henceforth and forever. Matthew 18. 18:1. You got to remember, Yahuwah loved the humble. He said he give grace to them. That's why we read like that spot in Proverbs 30. Like if your husband trying you or if somebody doing something, period, that's humility for you to say, I'm thinking evil. Let me put my hand over my mouth and not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not you repressing yourself. It's that you showing forth humility that I put my trust in he who judges righteously and he will defend me or avenge me. I don't have to do it. Matthew 18:1. At the same time, the disciples came unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of Shamahim? Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them, and said, truly I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of Shamahim. Whoso therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of Shamahim. And what did we see from those two examples in the Psalms and in Job? Number one, with Job, I utter things which I know not, things too high for me, because I'm uttering counsel. I'm uttering advice and things that I don't know about. So because of that, that means I'm exercising my things and things that don't pertain to me. I see that I'm a fool. When you see with David, he's saying, I'm going to stay humble and behave myself in a humble fashion because I don't have pride. See, a lot of brothers in the word, they have so much pride because they want to be here so badly. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just remaining humble. That's why you got to take heed to how you hear, because a lot of individuals who don't have no root in themselves, I ain't gonna say no root, who have the cares and affairs of this life and the pleasure of riches, that's what happens. See, they can't stay humbled as a child weaned off the breast because they have the cares and the pleasures of this life and riches in their mind, and it doesn't allow them to hear the word to bring forth fruit to perfection. You know what I'm saying? That's how you take heed to that. Romans 10. And then I know I mentioned something about confusion, and I'm gonna mention this here because usually, and it's not to be just like this here to cast aspersions, usually confusion is associated with women. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because women have the reputation of stirring up drama. So what we read the other day in 1 Corinthians 14 about let there be order in the house is forth is confusion, because Yahuwah doesn't operate like that. Yahuwah does not like confusion, and he doesn't like disorder, because things cannot function properly for the purposes of edification and praise and esteem coming to his name in the midst of confusion. No one, period. I don't care if it's in an organization. I don't care if it's in a household. I don't care if it's in a school. No one can function at their highest level in the midst of disorder and dysfunction. It is impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. This is why Yahuwah said this will not go down in my house. Y'all ain't in here going to be trying to prophesy at the same time. Y'all not going to be in here trying to speak tongues all at the same time. Because I don't write confusion. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get to that in a moment. What was I going? Romans chapter 10. Romans 10, and get straight to the point. I know I read verses 6 and all that there, man, by confessing with your mouth and the word of faith, but we just gonna get straight to 10 and 14. It says, how then shall they call on him whom they have not believed, and how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard, and how shall they hear without a preacher? How shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, How beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of shalom and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For you, Isaiah saith, Yahuwah, who have believed our report. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of Elohim. So when you take into account that Yahushua said in Luke 8:18, take heed to how you hear. That's why he went through those four type of things, because you got to take heed to how you hear. So we definitely going to, and remember we just also dealing in Proverbs 9 where we say, teach a wise man and he will be wiser. Teach a just man and he will increase in learning. So those two aspects in that Proverbs 9:9 details that last person who hearing in Luke chapter 8. They heard the word, they understand it, and they did it because they showed forth the skill, and then they increased in what they were taught. Individuals in the first three are not going to be able to do that. So the first thing that we need to look at is somebody who heard the word and the devil snatched it out of their heart because they didn't believe it. Does anyone have any idea who they would choose? Because I know who I'm going to choose, but I want to hear who you would choose. The first seed, first ground. Seed fell in the ground. When they heard the word, the devil snatched away which was already sold in their heart, which means they heard it and they didn't believe it. Because remember, we're talking about take heed on how you hear. So clearly this person, let me read Proverbs 9 again. So clearly that person doesn't fall into give instruction to a wise man and he will yet be wiser, or teach a just man because he will increase in learning, because this person, hold on, because this person heard the word and then the devil took away the word out of their heart, lest they should believe and be saved. Now I got who I would use, but who would you use? You say who? Anybody else? You say Korah? Anybody? You got somebody? You said Cain. Trina said Cain.
You said an example of a person who heard the word.
And it was snatched out of their heart. Devil came right through. Let me get that, cuz. Nigga robbed. That's who I was going to use. Going to use Eve. You know what I'm saying? Definitely we're going to use Eve, because that's apparent. That's clear. Let's look at it. Genesis 3:1. Word for word. Because he definitely walked up right up on it and snatched it. Because if she would have believed, she would have been saved, because she could have got to that tree of life. But she didn't believe. So she went down. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And Cain is a good one too, because the devil definitely came and snatched that from him too. So we'll look at him too. And he said unto the woman, yea, have Elohim said you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? The woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it lest you die. And if the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die, for Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof. Oh, Dwight said Esau. Indeed. Because you definitely that way, because he said, what good is that birthright going to do for me? He definitely snatched it. And those are all examples of that there, because that's somebody who doesn't believe. So that's why he said, take heed to how you hear. That's why he said it was better for you to have never heard it than to hear it and turn back from it. That's another reason why Yahushua said, if you come through that city and they don't receive your testimony, he said it's going to be worse for them than Sodom and Gomorrah, because you heard it and you didn't believe it. Oh, and that's what I read last night too, was the example with that right there. With the two sons, because Akish, you the one brought it to my memory last night when I was going through that. When he was like, one of them he told, go work in my vineyard. He said, I ain't going, but he went. And he said, the other one said, I'm going to go, but he didn't go. He said, which one did the will of his father? He said, the one that went. He said, therefore the publicans and the harlots are going to enter into the kingdom before you, because they heard John and believed. And when you heard him, you didn't believe, because the devil came and snatched away what was in your heart. That's why you need to take heed to how you hear. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people hear the word and they hearing it for the wrong reasons. See, like with Cain heard for what? Because he thought he was going to get a blessing. So I thought I could just bring this man anything. But he told him what to bring. He said, for Elohim do know that in the day you eat thereof, your eyes shall be open and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And what got that woman crossed up? I want a little bit of power. I want some power. Let me tell you something, man, and it's dead serious, right? Because you know by definition, a virtuous woman is basically it means a strong woman. And if she's a strong woman, it's because she's strong in Yahuwah. And that is the most beautiful thing to ever see on the face of this earth. There's nothing more beautiful than a virtuous woman. A woman who is strong in Yahuwah. And when you go through it, it's not just the stuff that she do. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things, and of course, you know, we're going to get to it eventually, y'all willing. It's not just the stuff that she does. Because it says that her husband heart can safely trust in her that she won't spoil him or do him any harm. You know what I'm saying? You know how many dudes don't feel like they can safely trust their heart with their woman? A virtuous woman has the ability where her husband feels comfortable enough to do that. It's two things a virtuous woman would be able to have from her husband. That's his ear and her heart, and his heart. Because he knows that she will not spit any poison in his ear and she won't damage his heart, that she will guard it and protect it. You know what I'm saying? Just like this here, right? And I was going to ask y'all this here, but everybody's not present. You know you're not a good woman unless your husband tell you are. It doesn't matter if you say, and I'm telling you that because that's what Proverbs 31 say. I'm not telling you that because that's how I feel. That's what Proverbs 31 say. You can examine it for your own taste if you desire. You know what I'm saying? I would I would hope that you would. But you know what I'm saying? But it say that. It say your children will rise up and call you blessed, and your husband will say that you're a good woman. See, if all your bald-headed whole friends tell you you're a good woman, that don't mean you're a good woman. Because their definition of a good woman might not be your husband's. Just because you feel like you're a good woman don't mean you are. But if your husband tell you you are, then you know you holding it down. And if you know you holding it down literally by going by what the text say to do, and your husband don't tell you that, then you know you're married to Ahab, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But your husband make that determination. It's the same token. Can you tell Yahuwah that you a good servant, or he gonna tell you a good servant? That's why we're using that framework. You don't go to Yahuwah and say, I'm a righteous man. Well, who told you was righteous, nigga? I did. Okay. Okay. You're a righteous man then. Because you told yourself. Or your bald-headed friends told you was righteous. Because can't none of us go to Yahuwah and say I'm righteous. The reason why I say that, because you can have, see, sometimes a lot of people don't realize stuff. Some people be miserable. So some people will gas you up and tell you stuff. And especially when, I'm just be honest with you. Most of y'all in here are married, right? Most women y'all age ain't married. You know what I'm saying? A lot of older women ain't married. They ran through, don't nobody want them. So a lot of times those women will tell you poisonous things to destroy what you got going on because they don't want you to be happy and have that because they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? See, men don't go around and do that. You know what I'm saying? Try to poison a nigga married. Nigga don't care. Because you know why niggas don't care? Because niggas ain't going to get divorced as quickly as a woman. If a man get divorced from a woman, you best believe he couldn't stand her no more. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do it. 80% of divorces are initiated by the woman. You know what I'm saying? So if a man divorces a woman, that means he utterly cannot stand this woman. You know what I'm saying? That he was willing to deal with the financial implications of divorcing this woman. He said, I don't care. That who can get everything. I just got to go. Most part, a man's going to stick that out, and dudes don't usually poison another man's relationship except if he trying to smash him. You know what I'm saying? A dude ain't gonna come up and say, boy, your wife a hoe. If your homeboy come and tell you your wife a hoe, 9 times out of 10, she's probably out here. You know what I'm saying? Dudes don't usually do that. Matter of fact, dudes ain't usually gonna say nothing to you about your wife unless you ask. You know what I'm saying? Niggas gonna keep that to themselves. They're like, that ain't my place. You know what I'm saying? If your wife was just standing there cussing you out, most of the niggas gonna say, bro, you all right? Everything all right? She seemed like everything all right. Oh, everything cool, cut. They gonna leave it at that. Don't let like, boy, you tripping, boy. Nigga, that whole that wow. You know what I'm saying? But women, they'll tell you to do all this backwards stuff because they want that nigga to be pissed off with you to leave her. Because it is cheaper to keep your wife in America. It's definitely cheaper to keep her. Get divorced in America if you want to. Nigga gonna be in the poorhouse. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Genesis chapter 4. It's definitely cheaper. Because don't you know when you get divorced, you got to pay for her divorce attorney? You got to pay for yours and hers. Shoot, I just seen some dude got to pay $13,000 in child support. I know full well it don't take $13,000 a month to take care of no child. You know what I'm saying? It take $156,000 a year to take care of this nigga. No, it don't take that much money. Maybe if it's 13, maybe a couple grand. You know what I'm saying? Maybe let's say 5 at the most, depending on where you live, what city you live in, and what the rent's like. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe 5 at the most. It don't take no $13,000. And truth be told, if you need to be spending $2,000-3,000 on rent, you need to assess where you live and move somewhere a little cheaper. You know what I'm saying? $156,000 a year, man. That's people for one child. One child. Shoot, that nigga Puff pays so much. That nigga Puff pays so much money in child support for each individual child. That nigga pay almost like almost $200,000 a month. I know Nas was getting hit for about the same thing. But don't take no $100,000 a month. Take care of no child.
I guess probably living the child.
That's what they come with. That's what, but that's not my responsibility. Ho, you the one left. That's not my responsibility. That's your responsibility. That you can afford. You could have stayed here. You know what I'm talking about? Man, I seen Hulk Hogan got divorced. It say his wife owns 70% of him. Like she owns 70% of his likeness and his rights. She got all the houses, all the cars, and 70% equity in anything he does. I'd be like O.J. Simpson, I ain't going to work. And tried to sue him for the lawsuit he got, talking about I need a piece of that too. And you wonder why niggas don't want to get married in this society, whether they in the word or not. You know what I'm talking about? And you wonder why. Niggas is not scared of getting married, they're scared of commitment. They scared to get divorced. You know what I'm saying? Because they going to get ran through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? Now, our culture, if you divorced a woman, oh, she was on her own. You out of your, I gave you your bill. It's on you how you live, baby. Get it how you live. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it was, though. I done told you that before. You know, Yahuwah merciful, so he still maintained us to a certain extent. You know what I'm talking about? But shoot, when you was in Babylon, man, shoot, you had to get it how you live, baby. You gotta get it how you live. America don't do that. But that they do that for a reason, and that's to empower the woman. You know what I'm saying? That if you don't have any power over this man, we'll give you the power over here. And the reason why I mention that, because you have to catch yourself, because you're inundated with those messages, whether you realize it or not, to guard your heart and preserve your heart so that you don't act on those. Because you could be receiving them subconsciously and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So then you take that liberal feminist approach towards your husband. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what you want to do. And not just towards your husband in the flesh, but to your husband whom you can't see. You take that attitude. And that's not cool. Genesis 4 and 1. Yeah, that's not cool. See, the main reason why, and we were talking about this the other day too, which is true. The main reason why women do the stuff that they do is because niggas allow it. If niggas stop allowing it, they would stop doing it. Or they'll be alone. They gonna get in line or be alone. You know what I'm saying? Or become a bulldagger. Shoot, that's their 3 options. I seen a lady, I listened later today, she said it's so much drama in the female prison. I said, I can see why, because it's emotion on emotion. 2 women in a relationship, that's gonna be combustible. You got 2 emotional creatures who have a menstrual cycle once a month in the same household. Talking about we together. You know what I'm talking about? Who? 2 niggas looking at situations emotionally falling out. Ain't nobody got time for that. Shoot, it's hard enough to deal with 1 woman with her emotions. 2 of them in together? Oh no. I can only imagine. Them hoes be in there fighting hard in the that'd be the most stankiest floor in the Duval County jail too. That joint smell like fish, death, and blood. Straight up and down. You don't want to woo woo. That junk be like this here, boy. If you ain't never want to go to jail before, you ain't gonna want to go after that. His face. They don't like to take the people to the women floor because it stank.
I know that. Ain't even all even maintain a woman that she should be.
She can't even maintain herself properly.
Ain't no sweet smell. Same.
There ain't no.
You got the same drywall soap You got to make it work.
With cheap tampons that they give, because they do give them that on the house. They have to. Man, but shoot. Now I know they stopped giving them girls hot dogs and bananas. They were wilding. They were wilding. They were wilding.
I can see the
Getting it how they live, shoot. Genesis 4:1. And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. I've gotten a man from Yahuwah. She bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering unto Yahuwah. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and the fat thereof. And Yahuwah had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Yahuwah said unto Cain, why are you wroth? Why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, shall you not be accepted? But if you do not well, sin lie at the door. And unto you shall be his desire, and you shall rule over him. See, Satan came and snatched that real fast. He thought he could bring anything. And then got mad. See, that's what a sinner do. You don't believe what he say. And then when he don't accept you, you get mad with him. And that was the example of what I was talking about you going to tell him you righteous. Who told you was righteous? Because in 1 John it said that that Cain's deeds were evil, and that he knew it. Now, can y'all think of somebody who, when they heard the word, they ain't had no root, so when a little temptation or tribulation came, they fell away? We done went over this before. So. Indeed, but this Saul have a little Saul didn't even have no tribulation. That nigga just was stupid. He was more but Saul was a more example of what he was saying, that the devil had snatched away what was already sown in his heart, because he already didn't want to do it. He already didn't want to do it. And all it took, the devil or the adversary, Hashatan, was the people like you mentioned. We're hungry. Well, save the best of everything. This did that, then, and third. But we're talking about somebody who had a little bit of adversity. And when they faced a little bit of adversity, they fell away. Heard the word, fell away. Because they got in a little bit of trouble. They didn't know what to do. You say David? Trina say David. I can't say David. David ain't fall away. He had some root. He sinned, but he ain't fall away. Because fall away means leave it alone. Job's wife, the rich young ruler. People in the wilderness. Now, see, I was going to use Job's wife for something else, because that's a wicked hoe. See, I was going to use Job for something in Proverbs 9. I just ain't got to that verse yet. Because she's a foolish woman. She's clamorous. She ain't had no root in herself. Lot's wife, she ain't had no root, but it's got to be tribulation. She wasn't trouble about nothing. That nigga just say, you got to slide. But ain't tribulation for her. Solomon, she just looked back. Oh, I like it back there. I like it back there. I can't even say that's tribulation on the rich ruler part, because he wasn't going through nothing. He just made him a proposition, and he said, no, I'm good. I won't say Solomon, because he ain't had no tribulation. He just got magnetized by all this young buddy had to the house.
Oh, you're mad.
Because I got one in mind.
One of the kings.
Oh, little Asa? Amaziah? Amaziah won.
Yeah. When the people had kids started getting pressure from the people.
Oh, Jeroboam? No, I don't say that. He ain't fall away. Amaziah fell away. Amaziah. I had Esau in mind, because he had a little tribulation. The nigga was a little, but it was tribulation to him. It was adversity though. And it also, I say tribulation because that's what Matthew say, but Luke say temptation. So he was tried. He was out there hunting, ain't getting no food. He tempted, you know what I'm talking about? And when he was tempted, he fell away. Amaziah most definitely, because Amaziah fell away from the gods of Edom. Absalom was just a wicked nigga from the jump. Let's look at Esau real quick though. He was just a wicked nigga from the jump. What is Genesis 25? 25 and 29. Because remember what he told you, right? Not to faint. Yes, sir. No, go ahead. You had your time. So, look at what he say. He say Esau was about to faint. What did Yahushua tell you in Luke 18? That men always ought to pray and not to what? Faint. Why are you fainting? Because of temptation or adversity. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm choosing to say, because he was in an adverse situation. Because y'all had to get him to get the birthright to Jacob one way or another. And how did he choose to do it? By taking him through temptation. Why was he tempted? Because he had need. The same token what you see with Yahushua when he was in the wilderness and Satan came and tempted him, because it wasn't no different than with Jacob and Esau. Only difference was Yahushua had rooted himself and he didn't sell out his birthright for some food. Oh, he did with being stupid. Because he knew what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm talking about? Because the dude didn't even offer him no food. See, it ain't even the food. It's when the dude came and said, I'm a prophet too. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't even matter because Yah told you what to do. So that nigga could have told you he was Yah himself. Nevertheless, I got to leave the way that I came. And I can't sit here and eat no bread and drink no water. So I catch you on the backside. That's what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? What he did is that was in his pride to saying, well, he didn't listen to the voice of Yah. He already knew what Yah told him. He chose to do what he wanted to do. I can't put it in the snatch away out the heart because he had the heart to go do what Yah sent him to go do. He just didn't complete the task in whole. It's the same thing with Saul. He did what Yah told him to do, but he didn't complete the task because he didn't utterly destroy everything.
I mean,
it could be both, because you can have tribulation is a part of it. Temptation is in tribulation because you're being tested. Because that's all temptation is. You know what I'm saying? Being tested. Yeah, you can. Because he definitely was tested. We just read about him last week. That's why I left him alone. Because definitely, what her name is, that bald head hoe? Delilah definitely tried him. What you gonna do, baby? You're making me sad. But that's another reason why you don't give your strength to no woman. I wouldn't care. And that's another point to sit back and show you too, that ain't nothing good from a woman nagging a man, because that man lost his eyeballs. Because usually when a man relents to a woman nagging, he just doing it so you're shut up. You know what I'm saying? You don't never do that, man. And you can see that anytime you see in the text a woman nagging, she was evil. A godly woman doesn't nag. You know what I'm saying? She's going to continue carrying herself in chaste conduct and put that nigga to shame for being a godly woman, for not listening to what she said. You know what I'm saying? That's what she does. That's skill. See, that's wisdom. See, the world tell you, say what you feel. This, that, then, the third. Wisdom say, make him look like a jackass. You know what I'm saying? Continually serve Yahuwah and make that nigga look stupid for not listening, because eventually Yahuwah gonna punch him dead in his face. You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't have to say a word. Because at the end of the day, if this is a godly man, then why you got to keep telling him to do the same thing over and over again? Yahuwah tell you that. Don't come at me with vain repetition. That's what Yahushua taught you when you prayed. He said that's what the heathen do. Don't come at me with worthless words over and over and over again. If they ain't listen the first time, they ain't gonna listen the 17th time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at his pole because it looked like he want to take a photo, like he got his model face on, as he coming with his fake funeral moan. Oh, you at church? You finna fall out and have the Holy Ghost? That's what he acting like. Genesis 25 and 27. He said the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Jacob saw a pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray you, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright. Esau said, behold, I'm at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? Now remember, right, when he say, right, by and by, when tribulation or persecution, that's what it said in Matthew, they offended. That nigga was offended at his birthright. And they said, what good is he going to do to me? Because he didn't have no root in Yahuwah to begin with. So he didn't deem that as valuable. So a lot of individuals who hear, they're not deeming it as that as valuable. So when some type of adversity comes, because I've already been telling you this, and y'all should know this by now and living. Adversity is what manifests the character of an individual. If you want to know how somebody really is, all they need to be put is in an adverse situation, and you'll see everything that you need to know. Because you can't hide your character in adversity. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what. It could be light adversity, it could be heavy adversity. It don't make no difference. Like truth be told, niggas ain't even supposed to marry nobody till you see how they handle adversity. Period. Because you don't want to marry somebody and find out they can't handle adversity well. That can destroy the whole house. That's whether it's the man or the woman. Because you got some men who can't handle adversity well. And you got some women who can handle it with grace, class, and strength that you ain't never seen. But well, you got to see how niggas handle adversity. This thing got a whole watermelon. You sure? You know what I'm saying? I'm just serious though. Like, you got to see how people handle adversity. You can't even necessarily say somebody is a real good friend of yours until you've seen how they've handled adversity, or if y'all had an adverse situation together, or meaning that you had some adversity and how they were there for you in that adversity, and vice versa. Can't even really say because you don't even really know. Some people get into pressure situations and fold. You know what I'm saying? And depending on what it is, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to take all situations on a case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes somebody getting in adversity, it's an adverse situation of which they were not accustomed for. So for them to crumple under that pressure is understandable. But then there's some to where, well, you know you're supposed to stood up in this situation, and that nigga buckled. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to marry nobody like that. You have to prove that out. But see, we ain't even taught to do that. That's why I asked y'all that the other. Like, it takes some years, because you might know somebody and not see them in an adverse situation for 2-3 years. You can't really you can't really know them till you see how they handle adversity. You know what I'm saying? Because woo, boy, I done seen some niggas I thought was strong as all outdoors, boy, and boy, them niggas folded. I ain't talking about no women. I'm talking about men folded. You know what I'm talking about? And not just on those street stuff, just folded. Like, shoot, I done seen too many niggas fold when they old lady come tell them they pregnant. Nigga, fold. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, fold. Nigga, like, I'm gonna have a baby, nigga. That ain't even adversity. You know what I'm talking about? Some nigga take, what I'm gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Shoot, nigga, keep doing what you been doing. Nigga, get you some money, take care of your child. Nigga, what you mean? I can't handle it, bro. I can't handle it. And nigga all anxious, but that ain't nothing but fear. See, the crumpling in adversity is because you've allowed your fear to be stronger than your confidence. You know what I'm saying? And that's why niggas fold, because of fear. You know what I'm saying? And if you serve Yahuwah, you ain't got no business folding under adversity, because he ain't gave you the ruach of fear. And if you had confidence in Yahuwah, you would have everlasting strength, because that's what he said. So therefore, adversity should not buckle you, which shows how you ain't got no root. Because if there's a root, that means you connected. And if you connected, that means you joined the Elohim. So how could you be joined the Elohim and fold and be fearful in the midst of adversity? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That makes absolutely no sense. When you seen Yahushua face adversity, you seen exactly what he did. He sought his father first. That's the first thing he did. And then he stood through and endured through the adversity and overcame it at the last. So now the third one, right? And we still got to go to Psalms 111. The third one is the cares and affairs of his riches. Let me get Amaziah too. Y'all think on that one there. Who folded under that? Let me get Amaziah. I think that's 2 Chronicles chapter 20. Don't quote me on that though, because I ain't said nothing. Yeah, you caught that, huh? 2 Chronicles 25. 25 and 1. Y'all some stubborn churn. Mordecai, you're being stubborn and rebellious. You're not inspiring awesomeness right now. You're not. You're inspiring rebellion. Go sit with your parents. That nigga looking like, so screw you. Go sit with your mommy, your daddy, the people who created you with the help of Yahuwah. Go sit with them. In 2 Chronicles 25 and 1. Amaziah was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign. How could y'all imagine being over a whole kingdom at 25 years old? That's a major responsibility right there. 25 years old, be over a whole kingdom. This nigga still. Well, y'all know how y'all was thinking when you were 25. You think you could have reigned over a whole kingdom? He wasn't though. I know I could have did it at 25. I'm talking about clearly the mindset that I had in 2005. Absolutely not. A whole kingdom? Oh no. You know what I'm saying? We done made some massive errors. You know what I'm talking about? 25 years old. Shoot, nigga, I was just getting to prison, so you know full well we gonna make some errors. Shoot, nigga, I got to prison 7 days before my 25th birthday. He wasn't number 7. Now, can you imagine taking over at 7? 7? Nigga, Lil Mike gonna be 7. Lil Mike like to show his buns. You know what I'm talking about? No, he ain't ready. That's all he'd have been doing in the throne. Look. Somebody slap this nigga. What wrong? That's the king. That nigga showed me his butt one more time. He'll be a king, all right. I'm a king, this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? 2 Chronicles 25:1. Amaziah was 25 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem. So he reigned till he was 54. He reigned almost long as he was alive. He said he did that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah, but not with a perfect heart. So I was just talking with the brothers about this earlier this morning too. See, that perfect heart means something. So guess what happened? When adversity arose, that nigga crumbled. Let's move down a little bit. Where we want to pick this up at? About verse 9, I suppose. It said, Amaziah said to the man of Elohim, but what shall we do for the 100 talents which I've given to the army of Yasharal? The man of Elohim answered, Yahuwah is able to give you much more than this. Amaziah separated them to wit, the army that was come to him out of Ephraim, to come home again. Therefore their anger was greatly kindled against Yehuda, and they returned home in great anger. Amaziah strengthened himself and led forth his people and went to the valley of Salt and smote the children of Seir 10,000. And the other 10,000 left alive did the children of Yehuda carry away captive and brought them unto the top of the rock and cast them down from the top of the rock, and they were broken in pieces. So they threw them off a mountain and watched them die. Now, he done took out Edom, and guess what ended up happening? Verse 14, he went to filling himself. And his temptation wasn't necessarily tribulation. Word. Aki said he could have did it at 25 violently, but not for the good of the people. It's a true story. So I think at 25 it wouldn't have been violently, but it'd have been probably some massive policy errors because of inexperience of ruling over something of that magnitude. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you still had this recently wild, man.
Yeah. Indeed they are, but I'm also immature. You know what I'm saying? They did. I'm just taking into account that I had sense at 25, but it's also being immature of I've never had that great of a responsibility of watching over something of that magnitude. So I'm just going to take into account that I'm probably going to make some errors. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that they wouldn't be that detrimental to the people as a whole, but I know full well I'm going to make a mistake. I know I'm going to make a mistake. I'm 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it ain't mistake of like sinning. It's just that you might make a bad judgment call because of your inexperience or your youth. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, you would hopefully that you would lean on your priests and elders as much as possible. But just youthful indiscretion, you know you probably going to do something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because David was pretty young and he did something stupid. Because we forget now, David was a very young man. He was not an old man.
He had no really standard set, I think.
No, he did. He did.
He did.
He did. He had that law. You know what I'm saying? He
I always say, like, when I say standard, like, you know how they always say, like, David the father, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was the model, like that the other kings model themselves after.
He was, but Jesse was that dude.
Huh?
But his daddy was that dude. He definitely knew. He just was thinking with his penis. That's what got him in trouble.
Jesse wasn't no king.
No, he wasn't. But shoot, he was a righteous.
He ruled his home, but he have.
Yeah, but see the thing, and I get what you're talking about. But for David, it just was a simple look at that booty. That nigga wanted to see what that booty do.
Oh.
Hey. That's just what happens in life sometimes. It's just what happens in life sometimes. Sometimes in life, you just don't get what you want. You ought to be paying attention anyway. Now, when it came to pass, after Amaziah was come from the slaughter of the Edomites, that he brought the gods of the children of Seir and set them up to be his gods, and bowed down himself before them, and burned incense unto them. Wherefore the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Amaziah, and he sent unto him a prophet which said, Why have you sought after the gods of the people, which could not deliver their own people out of your hand? It came to pass as he talked with him, the king said unto him, Are you made of king's counsel? Forbear. Why should you be smitten? Then the prophet forbare and said, I know that Elohim have determined to destroy you, because you have done this, and have not hearkened unto my counsel. That nigga was bold with it. He said, You the king's counsel? Hold your peace. Why should you be slapped? But where did all that come from? Because his heart got lifted up when he said, because you got to remember the gods of the people were made of what? Wood and stone or gold and silver. So he saw all them nice tinkling trinkets. He didn't take heed to how he heard. So the cares and affairs and the riches and the pleasure and the honor and all that stuff that you could get, he wasn't able to bring forth fruit to perfection. Because what did it say? He kept the word, but not with a perfect heart. Because clearly he was showing you from dealing with the gods of Edom and all that, that's what he was concerned with. The things going on around him. So that was not going to allow him to bring the word to perfection. But with a person that will use for hearing the word and understand it is but the one and only Yahushua HaMashiach. We don't need to look at anyone else. Oh, I did skip one. That's the one. But he's an example of the temptation and both. But who do y'all got for the cares and affairs of this life and riches and pleasure? Pulled him away from the word. I apologize. With Judas. I can give you that.
The Babylonian guard.
Oh, you talking about H-Hand?
Yeah.
H-Hand. I give you H-Hand. H-Hand. Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I was going to let Eli definitely won because he cared about his position and watched his sons run him up. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the cares and affairs of his life or your station. Because these men despised, and for time's sake, we ain't gonna look. I gotta hit the last one. These men despised the sacrifice of Yahuwah, and his daddy, and their daddy knew it. These niggas slinging meat at the tabernacle, and he knew it. Now, Achan, he definitely got caught up. I seen a Babylonian garment. I'd like to have that. He told you don't touch the accursed thing. He said, I'd like to have that. I'm gonna grab it.
Oh, wait, is that the one in the desert, or is that one that's following?
That's the one who was following Yahushua.
Oh, okay.
This is in Yahushua chapter 7. Achan.
Okay, yeah.
Achan is in Yahushua chapter 7.
Right, okay, that's what
That's the one who he got his whole family killed.
I know you talking about the nigga that double back.
Yeah, that lied.
Oh, that's the same. He fit in it. That's Benhazi. That's Benhazi, and he would fit into that too, because he told you it's a time to get garments and vineyards and olive yards and get money. But the cares, that's definitely one right there. That's 2 Kings chapter 4. He definitely is a prime example of that. And choked out the word. He couldn't bring it to perfection because he wanted riches. Now, would Saul be that? Trina said, would Saul be an example of the care? Saul's would be an example of the cares and affairs of his life, choking it off because he cared, because he wanted the chief. He wanted people to like him, and he wanted the best crops and the best oxen and sheep, because that's what he kept versus doing what Yahuwah told him. Because it definitely choked off the word. Because care about what people think is a part of the cares of this life. People who care about the life to come or the world to come don't care about what people think about them. Like truth be told, you cannot serve Yahuwah and care about what people think about you. Not if you serving him in sincerity. You can't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's another sinner. If it's a sinner, you can't care about what they think. If it's a righteous person, you got to calm and hearken. The reason why I say that, because you don't want to be like what you just seen Amaziah do and shoot that down. Because 9 times out of 10, when Yahuwah sending somebody to straighten you and you react in that fashion, it's just like what he said. I see that Yahuwah is determined to destroy you. I ain't talking to you no more. You notice what he said? Brother. See, that's what niggas do, begging a nigga. You don't beg a nigga. If you a godly person, you don't beg nobody to do right. If they don't want to do right, then so be it. Let them receive the recompense of their error. You go about your business. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You don't beg nobody to do right. They heaping up coals of fire against their own head. Let them get it. You're supposed to continue to deal humbly and justly and gracefully with them so they can keep on dropping coals of fire on their head. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't care if it's your children. I don't care if it's your mammy. I don't care if it's a nigga you've been friends with for 25 years. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't supposed to do that. That's why people be shocked. Shalom, brother. That's why people be shocked and come up and be like, how could you treat this person like this? They did this to you or they did that to you. So what? What that got to do with me? He said, if your enemy be hungry, he said, give him something to eat. And if he be thirsty, give him something to drink. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to play the game. See, niggas ain't got no wisdom. You niggas playing checkers. You ain't playing chess. That's why you can't checkmate nobody. See, when you play checkers, you play with your emotion. You just moving pieces. When you play chess, you're playing with wisdom. So you're moving with a purpose and a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why I can be merciful and kind and humble to this nigga, even though I know they wicked and they've crossed me. It's a reason why I can do that, because I'm moving my chess pieces in a strategic fashion. See, most niggas is pawns. Most of the niggas you see on TV, them niggas pawns. You know, pawns ain't got no power. You know what I'm saying? They can't do nothing. Pawn can't do nothing but go straight up ahead. He can't control the board. He's just there. He ain't there for he's only there for the explicit purpose to be killed, to set up a move for a more powerful piece. That's all he there for. Niggas love to say, oh, I let you get that pawn. Nigga ain't gonna let you get that bishop. Nigga don't want you to get that knight. Nigga don't want you to get that rook. Nigga don't want you to get that queen, especially. You know what I'm saying? I give you a pawn, nigga. You can have that. And that's what most of these niggas who you see on TV, they pawns. And most niggas in their marriages is pawns. Nigga, they wife pushing them across the board. You know what I'm saying? And you get played because you playing checkers. You know what I'm saying? I use that term. You seen what that nigga told that nigga in training day. Nigga, I've been playing this. He says it's chess, man. It ain't checkers. Because niggas who play checkers, you move mindfully. I'm just moving over here. I'm just trying to collect pieces. That's why a lot of niggas, when I was on the road and watched them play chess, they were playing chess like they were playing checkers and getting crashed. Because all they was thinking about was trying to take pieces. You weren't strategizing to win. Well, the wisdom that's in Proverbs, or the wisdom of Elohim to be specifically, is for you to play chess, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you can get the win. When you look at football, football is a game of strategy. If you talk about it being an actual competitive event and not a staged event for your entertainment. So you're doing this stuff as a strategy to get the win. Like you look at how they say the Patriots coach, they say Belichick come up with a game plan individually for every team that they play. He said, I'm going to take away what you do best, and I'm going to force you to do something else. I'm just not coming. Most teams just be like, this is what we do, and we're not going to change it because you're a loser. You're not adaptable. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if we was to take it that this is a sincere competition, then you can see why the Patriots have won so many championships and played in so many Super Bowls and had a run so long, because this is a sustainable environment. Because I adapt the system to what the people who I have do well, and then I adapt to who I'm facing. So therefore, I'm tailoring something strictly. And that's what you got to do when you play chess. When you play chess, you tailor your moves to who you're playing. If you done played them before. Like when I play Madden, when I used to play Madden on a regular basis, it usually take you a quarter and a half to get to feel out how a nigga play. You know what I'm saying? If you've never played them before. See, when you playing 2K or NBA Live, it don't matter. It's basketball. Nobody plays basketball games with strategy. Very few dudes do that. Very few dudes are running set plays, and you be like, oh, that nigga like to ride the triangle. And in this situation, niggas don't do that. But in Madden, you playing football, you have no choice. You're going to know on 3rd and 3, that nigga like to do this. On 1st down, because it's going to be the tendencies. You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with the word and you're dealing with people and you're dealing with wisdom, this is why he tell you to pay attention to certain things, because you're going to be dealing with tendencies. So then you know how to move when you see these certain tendencies in order for you not to sin against Yahuwah and to execute flawlessly. But niggas let their emotions get in the way. You worrying about how you feel. Man, bump how you feel. How you feel can get you killed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to put your feelings to the side, because wisdom and feelings don't go together. Wisdom and feelings don't go together, because wisdom is not a feeling-based thing, because it's an action-based thing, and that takes skill. And ain't nobody who's emotional is skilled. You ever seen a skillful emotional person? Because I ain't never seen one. And that doesn't. I've seen some women who got wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They know what to do and how to do it. This is why one of the reasons, and hopefully people, that's one of the reasons why the book state about having an older woman who got skill to tell a younger woman how to be a wife, who been in the word. You know what I'm saying? But most young women in the word, they gonna have too much pride. I don't want to talk to her because you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? This woman had already been married X amount of years and raised grown children. Why wouldn't you listen to her? That's your pride won't let you do it, because you don't want no wisdom, you don't want no skill, because you think you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who you see, you always have to remain coachable. And coachable is all it is to be able for somebody to give you insight for you to perform better. See, if you can't take constructive criticism or critiques, people are not critiquing you for the purpose of, no, I have not. You know what I'm saying? Do I say clearly I haven't played 2K competitively? Clearly. Because I guess them niggas running sets on 2K competitively. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know. Shooting three. So that lost my train of thought right there. But no, it's just like it's the skill to make you better. If you can take your emotions out of the play and just hear how somebody is trying to make you better, then you might be able to excel in your chosen vocation. Most people take the stuff personally, and their emotions get in the way of their greatness. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your emotions get in the way of your great. This is what I was telling you the other day. I don't know Obie Dorsey like that, but he said, "Let me challenge you." He even asked. He just didn't come out the top and say, "I'm challenging you." He said, "Can I challenge you?" One, I know he's asking this question for two. I want to see his response. Will he get offended? You know what I'm saying? Because if he get offended, I can know this ain't somebody I want to do business with. But if I say, "Can I challenge you?" and then I lay out that this is what you can do to excel in this field, why wouldn't I listen to this man when I know this man sells 120 houses a year minimum? So all I'm thinking in my mind is, shoot, nigga, don't threaten me with a good time. Come on with your challenge then. You know what I'm saying? Because what is his challenge going to do? It's going to make you focus and compartmentalize what he's saying and divert all your attention to achieving the goal. It's not even about proving him wrong. He want to see where your heart's at. You know what I'm saying? He want to see, do you want to be as great as you say you do? Like somebody can say, I want to be a good husband. Do you really? I want to be a good wife. Do you really? Like they say, I just seen like with Aaron Rodgers. They were saying that the coach, he already talking trash about the coach. I don't know if this gonna work. Niggas say, can you get through a mini camp first? How about a training camp? Maybe a preseason game? Can you play 4-5 regular season games? Because he has a reputation of he doesn't want to be coached. Yeah, because he want to freelance and do what he want to do. Because you don't want to be coached. You don't want somebody to tell you, because I'm Aaron Rodgers. I've done this. You have people who haven't achieved anything and they be like, I'm such and such. Well, nigga, what have you done? To have that attitude. You know what I'm saying? You can't have that attitude. Nevertheless, I think I'm finished in Chronicles. Let's go back to Psalms 111. We're in verse 3, right? No, sir. Sit. You got to pee? Because I keep seeing you grabbing your penis. You take him to the bathroom? Darius, he says he has to urinate. I appreciate you, sir. Because I noticed you grabbed yourself about 2-3 times. Were you smart? Will you tell him thank you for escorting you? Clearly you were not. Psalms 111 and 2. The works of you who are great, sought out of all of them, they have pleasure therein. His work is honorable. Listen what he say his work is honorable and esteemed, and his righteousness endure forever. So when you look at what Yahushua has done, and when he tell you that what are the works of Elohim but to believe on him whom he have sent, if you do the works of Elohim, that's where you're going to get your honor from. Male or female, that's where you're going to get your honor from. He said he's made us wonderful. He have made his wonderful works to be remembered. What did Yahushua say in John 14? He said, I will bring to remembrance everything I said unto you. So that's why he took the word from being on tables of stone and put them on tables of his heart, or your heart, because he said he made his wonderful works to remember. That's why you preach the gospel. That's why he told you in the Exodus about telling your children about what happened on the Passover so they could remember. You don't think that's a wonderful work to talk about how somebody resurrected from the dead? Everything else flows out of that. And that's what makes the words to be remembered. He said, Yahuwah is gracious and full of compassion. So if I tell you about, yeah, man, so, the son of Elohim came through. He was persecuted and afflicted, died, rose from the dead for the redemption of your sins, and gave the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh, then you can see how he's full of compassion. And remember, he said, give wisdom to a wise man, and he will be wiser. Well, it says Yahushua was heard because he feared, which means that he was a wise man. That's why we came here for that verse in Psalms 111. I'm going to get to it in a minute. But that's why, so that was able to make him wiser or more skillful. So therefore, he was able to give the skill unto others. Verse 5, he said, listen what he said, he's given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant. Now, it's not bread here for meat. You know what I'm saying? Like it was in Proverbs 6. But you see that he did what? Yahushua said, my flesh is meat indeed. And the meat that I give is my flesh, which I give for the life of the world, which allowed him to remember the covenant that he made with your forefathers, which you broke. And he made a new one with you. So he could put his spirit in you and your iniquity. See, a lot of people forget that part of the new covenant, which is mentioned that he said that I'll forgive your sins and won't remember them. Like I told you before, like, when you get forgiven, that man's not bringing up what you've done. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, what are you hesitating for? Wash away your sins. Yahuwah's not going to bring up, you used to be a lesbian. He ain't bringing up, you used to be a thief or a fornicator. He's not mentioning any of that. The only way he going to mention it is if you started in righteousness and then went back. Then he's going to mention it. If you started in sin and repented and walked in righteousness, that man is not mentioning that anymore. Because he has to be mindful of his covenant and forgive you of the iniquity. He said he has showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. So this is twofold. You've seen the power of his works when you came up out of Egypt. Remember, heritage simply means possession or inheritance. See, you can't say if a nigga come to you be like, have you returned back to your Israelite heritage? I'm like, no, nigga, I'm in America. How could I? You know what I'm saying? How could I? Remember, when you see heritage, it simply means possession or inheritance. Did he not give you the possession of the heathen when you came out of Egypt? And guess what? When Yahushua resurrected from the dead, he going to come back and give you the possession of the heathen, because he said Jerusalem will be trodden down until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. And he going to do the same thing all over again. He going to remember, right? He done told you the end from the beginning. So the land is going to be defiled with Gentiles working all manner of evil in it. And he got to destroy them and move them out the land to give it to you like he did for your forefathers. Ain't nothing new under the sun. He said the works of his hands are verity, which is a muth, truth, faithfulness, reliability, and judgments, and all his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever and are done in truth and uprightness. Listen what he said. He sent redemption unto his people. Now that word for redemption in Hebrew means ransom. So he sent a ransom. Yahushua said, I came to make myself a ransom for many. Increase a teach a just man. Notice what he say, teach a what? A just man. And he will increase in learning. Well, he say, my father has given me commandments, what I should say and what I should speak. That's what he said in John 12:49. And then he taught him again when he resurrected from the dead. And what did he do? He increased in learning and taught it to his apostles how the whole book was about him. So what we see when we see these two things is you see two key things. that no matter how wise you might be, you can always become wiser. And just because you're a just man, you can still be taught more and be able to increase in learning, which means if the son of Elohim could still be coachable, you can too. He said he sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever. Kadash and reverend is his name. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all those that do his commandments. His praise endure forever. Now that verse, that word, when they say all they that do, it's the word for Psalms. You know what the word for Psalms is? You know? Yeah. And that word means praise. So that's what it actually says there. A good understanding have all those that praise. That's what it says. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that part when it said his commandments, his praise. So when it say all they that do, it's just going to say all they that, a good understanding have all they that do praise. That's what it says. All they that do praise. Commandments is not there. It says all they that do praise. And it don't have Telahim here, but it has Telhalah, which is a praise, a song, a hymn of praise or adoration. Well, guess this here. A good understanding have all them that praise. So why would you be praising Elohim if you have a good understanding? Because we know the son of Elohim is coming, giving us an understanding that we may know him that is true and that we are in him that is true. Even his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, this is the true Elohim in eternal life. So when you have a good understanding, you will praise Yahuwah because you would understand his works. So it doesn't say that you do his commandments that you have that you have a good understanding. It's because you praise. Because like I said, I told you I was talking to the brother in Detroit about this many times. You know, a lot of dudes who when they find out they're a brew, they feel like doing praise and worship, quote unquote, is Christian and that you shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm talking about? Because I was just talking to the brother about that earlier too. He was like, you know, he said he was down with Geno Jennings. Y'all familiar with Geno Jennings? He a nigga from Pennsylvania. You know about Geno. Geno be going hard and say, you makeup wearing whore. Yeah, they used to be beefing because I think he came from up under that tree. You know what I'm saying? But I think he was probably trying to get some shine off that man's name because Geno Jennings got a large following. Geno Jennings, y'all remember Mr. Vegas? The nigga who was singing, the reggae nigga who was singing on the song Here Comes the Boom off Belly? That nigga went and debated that nigga in Jamaica. Like, that junk was hilarious. Mr. Vegas didn't agree with some of the doctrines of Mr. Jennings. So I think he didn't agree with the fact that women can't wear pants and stuff like that there. You know, he was basically being a liberalized simp. So he went down to Jamaica, had a debate with him, and that nigga kicked that nigga Mr. Vegas out the venue. That junk was hilarious. It's on YouTube. That junk was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? That junk was hilarious. But yeah. Geno Jennings. Geno Jennings is really where the base was. I think Smith get a lot of stuff of what he was teaching from the beginning because I believe that's what he came from. What Geno Jennings is in Pennsylvania. But Brother Sean knows Geno Jennings too. You know what I'm saying? Like he got if you go to Geno Jennings church right now, all the women in there gonna be in all white with their head covered every service. Like all the women gonna have on all white. Every single solitary time. You know what I'm saying? And you're not coming in that, and I don't disagree with it either, though. You're not coming in that sanctuary with not nary body part showing. Not a kneecap, not an ankle, not an arm, not a shoulder blade, not nothing. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, if you was to enter in the sanctuary of Elohim, it would be the same way. You know what I'm saying? You're not coming in the house of Elohim with none of that showing. You know what I'm talking about? You're not coming in there with that. Ain't no knee-high skirts. Ain't no heels. Ain't no none of that. You're going to come in here looking like a woman. A godly woman. You know what I'm saying? And some people, when they see that, they get offended by it. But he ain't telling them nothing wrong. He definitely ain't telling them nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But you know, a lot of brews don't push and press that. So it is what it is. But you're supposed to be a lady. Nobody ain't nobody got no business seeing the top of your titty, the side of your titty, if that ain't your husband. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody got no business seeing your body, period, except for your husband. Only people who show their body off is whores. You know what I'm saying? But see, this society, you already know that. You know, you can't slut shame. I seen a nigga talking about don't fat shame. There's no such thing as fat shaming. That's what people say. They only say that because if somebody says they don't have a preference for that, whether it's male or female, you're fat shaming. But it's mainly women who say that. But shoot, clearly shoot, you got that 600-pound woman on, she got shoot. Some nigga like it. I seen a nigga on that 600-pound life. That nigga holds his wife down on the front porch. That's love. That's some love right there. That's love right there. But he should have loved her enough to stop giving all that food. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Or he would right there eating alone. Now, why did them niggas on that video just come in my head? This Syracuse orange. That nigga said that nigga went in there and bought 10 pieces. Nigga came home with 3. That did trip me out. You left that store with all them pizzas and came home with 3. How were you able to eat all that food? It wasn't up to 2 of y'all. Well, you meet some people you thought you was greedy, and then you find out you ain't greedy. That's gluttony times 1,000. You know what's funny? People always talk about gluttony, and then you know that term is not even like really in the text like that. You know, because you know they say that's one of the 7 deadly sins. You know they made a movie about that. You ever seen that movie? Movie called 7. Had Brad Pitt in it.
Oh, yeah, I think that movie.
They was murdered or something.
Yeah, but he was killing people who was indulging in the 7 deadly sins. I can't remember all the 7 deadly sins. I think the 7 deadly sins is probably a play off the 7 things that Yahuwah hate, and they just watered it down. Because the 7 things that Yahuwah hate are truly 7 deadly sins, because he said he hates these things. They're abomination to him. All I can remember that is pride, lust, and gluttony. I don't remember the other part. I forgot. We live in a time where any answer is at your fingertips. So, let's see. Hold on, we finna get ready to wrap up anyway. What's up? Oh, the 7 deadly sins? Oh, Trina said greed was one. I never seen Saul. I've never seen it. Ain't that funny that it says right here, right? These are a grouping of classification of vices within Christian teachings. It does not explicitly appear in the Bible. Then why do you people teach it? It's lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. These are things, with the exception of gluttony to a certain extent, that the word speaks about individually, but not as a group. Because the book definitely tell you not to envy and have pride. Definitely talk about wrath, and definitely talk about being lazy. But you know, you only really see slothfulness being talked about in what you call it in Proverbs. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. You say if you're a man of appetite, put a knife to your neck. You know what I'm saying? And then tell you another thing about eating honey. You could say gluttony would be lust. I would say gluttony more than anything would be a lack of self-control. No, it isn't Proverbs. Proverbs 23. But if I put tonight, if you a man of appetite, don't eat the king's dainty meat. You say if you be a man of appetite, put a throat to your neck. But in another place in Proverbs, I can't recall it word for word, but it talk about eating honey to the point that you regurgitate. But then it also tell you in Proverbs that it's not wise for you to stay up all night and then to get up early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? He said it don't make no sense for you to sit up all night just to rise early. You know, a lot of people do that. Stay up all night. Oh, I got to get up at 6 o'clock. Well, you should have took your butt to sleep. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, I'll pull that verse for you. He's a baby. No, it's in Psalms. Psalms 127. That's what it was. It's not in Proverbs. It's in Psalms. Matter of fact, I think we just read that not too long ago. Psalms 127 and 1, though. That's where it's at, what I'm talking about. It says, except Yahuwah build the house, they labor in vain that build it, and except Yahuwah keep the city, the watchmen wait but in vain. He said, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he give his beloved sleep. So he says it's vain for you to get up early in the morning if you're gonna stay up all night. Because you know most people who get up early in the morning, they go to sleep early. When you hear people who say they get up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, they usually in the bed by 10 o'clock at night, if not early. But we're gonna stop it right there though. Hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Appreciate everybody's time. You know, just take heed to how you hear. Because taking heed to how you hear is gonna dictate how you react and obey to the word. Are you gonna be one who hear the word and don't believe it? Are you gonna be one who hear the word and get drawn away by adversity and temptation? Are you gonna be one who's tempted by the cares and affairs and pleasure of this life? Or are you gonna be one who hears the word and do it? So I bless all y'all at the house of y'all name of Yahushua. Appreciate everybody's time. Love y'all. Hello. And y'all willing to the next time, we'll pick it up, do it again. Hey, how many of y'all willing to go